I got two hands, I got my mouth, I know how to earn money.
She absolutely does. She doesn't miss a trick. Well, 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 good morning. Little advice, don't take a kind of a whole grain cereal and magnesium before you go to bed. It wasn't a good evening. Good morning, anyway. Oh, God, Kevin was at it again. He's worse than Barry, actually, when you think about it. And one of his viewers just had to come out and pretty much say it to Kevin. He says, that all you're doing is raging about Frank again. He says, don't you have any other topic matter? Well, Kevin goes with this because he figures that's a way to make money if he talks about Frank. He really doesn't have any topic matter. Damn. They don't like those shepherds, man. You hear them dogs barking? Whenever the guy walks by with his German shepherds, holy shit, my dogs go crazy. I don't know what it is, what they have about those German shepherds, but the guy has like five of them or something. He walks. Big suckers, man. There they go. So, obviously, Kevin's been doing a lot of shows lately, taking advantage of the fact he made a couple of coins the past week. No, he didn't make no 1,100 something dollars last month or something. That was bullshit. But, uh, point being, even one of his commenters had to say on there, what is it with you, man? You're raging about Frank again. Don't you have any other topic matters? Well, Kevin is going with something that, well, because of the fact that he's not capable of having any kind of intellectual dialogue or monologue on his show, he goes with the old standby. Well, that's me. That's me. And he flows with it. Now, he's not capable of really talking about anything. And even if they go off topic a little bit, maybe some commenters will talk about something else. All roads lead to Frank. All roads lead to Frank. Uh, yeah, I would say these days, I think more than others, I think Kevin is a lot more obsessed with me. And one of the reasons because Kevin is always trying to prove himself or prove me to be wrong about him, and he knows I'm right. So Kevin's been getting very defensive on this. That's what he's been doing. He gets very defensive. And he knows I'm right. And he doesn't want to hear it, so he's going to go on the attack of me all the time. Kevin knows that this whole time out there has been a total waste of time. He realizes, he understands that. His life is not any better in Thailand than it was in uh, in Kentucky, in America. In fact, he had it better actually in Kentucky because Kevin didn't go out much there. Well, weight being the biggest problem, and he doesn't go out much where he is now in Thailand. And then he went to Vietnam, and that didn't work. He went back to Thailand. So he's not doing much of anything else with his time except eating ramen and shit. He's the ramen eater, because he's so fucking tight. He doesn't want to spend on anything unless somebody wants to buy him something. He's all for that. Another Barry, another Barry. But a commenter had to come out, and I see these comments here and there. I said, "Don't you have anything else to talk about but Frank?" It's like he's living his life for me. He's not killing it out there. He's killing himself. And I say that expression, that he's killing himself, literally, not just, figuratively, because he's not maintaining his weight anymore. He's gaining weight. There to go again. And, oh boy. Jeez, they don't like those shepherds at all. Yeah, my little dogs could be pretty vicious if they want to be. They're not huge dogs or nothing. They're not, you know, bulldogs or any shit like that. But I'll tell you what, they're feisty when they want to be. Oh, not on the laptop now. I'm just lazy. Let's say I had an interesting evening. What an evening. Oh, what a night. Yeah, quite a night. I'm giving up on magnesium for a while. I thought I would take it as a supplement to help me sleep and relax better, but it kind of worked in a different way. Even a glycinate, which is not supposed to do that much, anyways, according to the individual, and having as a snack last evening, 2 hours before I went to bed, I had some, a very much a whole grain cereal, which had like dried fruit and stuff in it. No, not a good combination before you go to bed. That's all I'm going to say on that. I won't get into the graphics. Too graphic here. And it began actually by me having some GERD. I had some GERD from the very food that I ate. Oh yeah, it kind of came up a little bit. Then it was afterwards. After that, that's when the volcanoes went off. 3 visits to the CR because I had taken magnesium. Ah, shit. Well, literally shit. Let me tell you. All right, that's graphic enough. But I don't know. I think it's just really sad in a way when a man moves himself to another country like Kevin, and that's all he does. He doesn't leave his apartment much, and when he does a show, it's about me, proving that he doesn't have the ability to have any kind of provide any kind of intellect to his show to be able to have the capacity to actually talk about something and find an actual topic matter. But then again, look, you got to look at it this way. And as cruel as it may sound, and I'm not trying to be cruel, Kevin obviously is not working on all 6 cylinders. Okay, so I take that into the picture, into the facts. You're not dealing with a quote as our society would define as a quote normal person. Don't forget he had a bad injury to his brain, and that did affect him. Obviously, so you see it in his mannerism, his behavior. You see it in his face. You see it in his speech, and you know he got brain damage. So I do take that into consideration. You know, and I do. He's still irritating, but I still take that into consideration. That he's not normal. Define normal anyway, but with him, you could differentiate between what's normal behavior and what's not, injury or not. But to do a show on me all the time, he figures that's going to draw him attention, and that's what he does, and people take advantage of that. Barry did it all the time. Let's talk about Frank and get drama in here, and I'll be able to get some donations or something, or people will even listen to him. But even with Barry, it got played out after a while with the viewers. It got played out, as well as it's getting played out for Kevin because now I'm starting to see the comments, and I've seen them on and off too. It's not the first time I've seen a comment like, dude, can't you come up with some kind of topic matter other than Frank? And I wish I could read the exact words, but that's what's kind of going on with his channel. But he's like a little kid in a candy store, reaching for this candy, meaning donations, reaching for this, reaching for that. Let's give the audience what they want. What they don't necessarily want to spend every show talking about Frank, but Kevin tries to use this to his advantage. is what he's doing. But he's also making a fool out of himself, too, in the process. He's not a great orator, shall I say, and having to listen to his slurred speech. And he gets a feeling of being very special on a pedestal because he's the grand poobah, the grand master of the trolls. And that's why they come to his show. And he thinks everybody likes him, but they're actually laughing at him all the time. Let's see what Kevin has to say today about Frank, because we know he's going to talk about Frank. Frank. Man, I deserve to be put in a throne or something on YouTube. I carry people's shows. Give me the credit for that. If Kevin didn't have me, I don't know what he'd talk about. Except he'd be kissing everybody's ass who ever gave him a donation. He does it on every show. And he'll claim that some of the major trolls on here, they're all good people with great families and wonderful people. In other words, you know, no, don't do no evil or nothing. But he kisses their asses because it means potential donations. As I said, the bolo knife went deep. But it didn't go that deep or in the right spot where it interfered with his any kind of cognitive ability that really has to do with money. Yeah, he's just a guy that doesn't like to spend his money. He'd rather spend yours. It's smart. I think there's some good planning with that. Why, it's like businesses. A lot of them will say, hey, don't spend your own money to get your business going. Use other people's money. Well, that's what he does. That's henceforth why he goes out and he became the ramen eater. New nickname, he's the ramen eater. The ramen eater, like the Terminator, but the ramen eater to save money. And for people thinking that Kevin doesn't have any money, they're fooling themselves. He has plenty. He gets 2 checks every month. And other than paying his normal stuff like his rent and I think electricity might be included, I'm not sure. Besides buying like ramen to eat, he doesn't put out much money on anything else. He figures let the viewers, like Barry did, let the viewers pay everything else. And when he meets up with somebody, let them pay for the dinner. So as far as brain damage, that part of him actually excels. He knows what he's doing. Don't kid yourself. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he's got people wrapped around his finger to feel sorry for him. Yeah. Even people like Big E, the few videos that he puts on, at one point or another, there might be a little innuendo or something about me in there. So I drive a lot of people's shows. Obviously so. What would they do without me? Well, they just find another victim. That's historically how it works on here anyway. But yeah, I can't say it enough. He made the biggest mistake in the world of moving to Thailand, or out of the country, period. And what do you do with your time? He doesn't do much, guys. A lot of time he's playing with his toys in his rented room, or taking 20 minutes just to get down the stairs, just to get outside, and maybe walk to 7-Eleven and buy more ramen, or maybe a Slurpee or something. It's a shame because all the medicine that he took to lose weight, he didn't do it the old-fashioned style, like simply shut your fucking mouth, stop shoveling shovelfuls of food in your mouth, which caused him to weigh as much as a beached whale. But now he's back on that little design again where he's starting to gain a little bit of his weight back again. He's not on any meds anymore. That's what protected him and saved him. But he can't get it in the Philippines or actually Thailand or something unless he wants to spend up to $1,200 to $1,500. There's no way that he's going to put money out of his pocket. Why not when you don't have to? Compare it to 8 Miles from Home show, just about everything they do. See, unfortunately, Kevin's never going to have a sponsor from a company or a resort. But what they do, and they do everything legitimately, everywhere they go, they're getting sponsored. Resorts, everything. Now, Kevin wishes he had something like that going, but he gets sponsored by people like Big E and so forth. You know, the new daddy. And any viewers, and by the way, he didn't make over 11 or $1,800 this month or something. That was all bullshit coming out of Big E's mouth. But nevertheless, it don't matter. Uh, People generally just feel sorry for him. Should you? It's according to how you look at the situation. He's a real antagonistic person. Again, we got to go back to the mentally ill part because we have to consider that in the equation. But does it really excuse him for what he does? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Barry was not a exactly a normal person either. But not being normal, does that excuse Barry's actions? No, it don't. No, it don't. And Kevin's so gung ho that he's going to outlive me. Well, that I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. But commenters are beginning to speak out and say, "I don't mind listening to you, Kevin, but Jesus Christ, can you come up with some topic matter besides Frank? He's getting pretty old, dude, as well as he's getting very old. Be original. Try. Use what living brain cells that you have left after that bolo knife incident and give it a try and show people that underneath all that clouded brain, that maybe there's something left over to open up the clouds and shine a little sunlight onto your show and actually find a topic matter that doesn't have to do with Frank. Oh, there's Dying Expat. Hello. Dying Expat. Okay. No, but really, Kevin, it does get old. And I don't know. Then you get more and more vicious. Then you start talking about my girlfriend and shit like that, you know. Kevin, let me tell you something. And I'm going to really mean it. I don't care how mentally fucking retarded you are. I do take that into consideration. You know, how do you know I won't be your neighbor someday? Just think about that. Bigger you are, the harder you fall. I'm not afraid of you, Kevin. You're in no fucking shape to deal with me. I don't like some of the shit you say about me, but I let it pass because I know that you're not very well mentally. And I try to pass that off. But then when you start to get really ugly and you start talking about my girlfriend or family or something, then you're overbounding that line. And Barry found out, the hard way. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Don't put it past me to go to Vietnam, and don't put it past me. You just don't know with me, Kevin. I know you're trying to get the viewers, you need that AdSense money and all that, you want donations and all that, but sometimes enough is enough. Show your audience that you have the capability or capacity to actually have a topic matter other than myself. Because believe me, after a while, you will lose an audience because it does get old. It does get really old. And keep on thinking you're not a young man yourself, Kevin. You're 63 years old. Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? Sit in a room and do a YouTube show about Frank? You leave the country of U.S., and we know why you went and what was the factor that drove you to go out of the country, which had to do with other people's money, of course. Now that you're there, you say your 1 year anniversary of being out of the United States. Okay, cool. But think, what did you do with yourself while you've been there the whole time? Nothing. The only excitement, if you want to call it, that you've had is meeting up with a few YouTubers that you're very familiar with. And of course, suckering them into buying you meals. That's your only excitement. You have not had an exciting moment other than hanging in the bars and buying these prostitutes drinks so you could have companionship. If you want to call that exciting, I guess on your level, maybe that would be. There's been nothing exciting about you leaving America to go live in Southeast Asia. I've not seen anything exciting on any of your shows since you left the United States. I saw nothing exciting when you had a show when you were in the United States. Just like a prepubescent playing with all his little toys. Again, again, I take into consideration, and I do, that you had brain injury. You know, in your case, it was a bolo knife in your brain, or it could have been a car accident, or whatever it might have been. I do take that into consideration. And that's why I'm not really that disturbed when you talk about me, but instead I feel almost, if I could push myself to feel this, is a little bit of sorrow for you. That this has become your life at age 63. You haven't had a real girlfriend for how many years? Worse than Popeye, maybe. And that's pretty bad. Pretend girlfriends. Here, get on camera. Here's a couple of bots or pesos or whatever. Well, bots, okay. Okay, thank you. And I don't lie, even imitating you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be cruel. I really don't. I don't want to be you, Kevin. I just really don't. Sometimes I have fun with this, you know. But when people listen to you, Kevin, I want you to know what they're thinking. Okay, just like I could hear your shows, see your shows. They hear a guy talking like this, number one. Yeah, you're welcome to the show. It's all entertainment. That's number one. Then there's a visual. They look at you. You look like Uncle Fester on steroids. Okay? So combined with the slurred speech and the obvious lack of mental, I don't know, integrity, crudity, I don't know. Got to find the right word in your case because it's actually, there's many. People come up with their own impression. Well, let's feel sorry for this guy. He's obviously a special person, if you know what I mean. A special person. And they feel sorry. They may even give you donations. But as much as his brain is screwed up, he has the ability to know how to manipulate people on his show. Jacko's skill, valid points. There we go. He has the ability to manipulate people to make money. He's good at something, at least. But you can't live the rest of your life like that, man. Sometimes you also have to be generous. Perhaps you may invite a YouTuber that's going to be in the area, invite them for a dinner. And this time, pay for their dinner. Show what a real man will do. I know that's hard for you. And I also know it's frustrated that I haven't been laid in how many years. In part, it was because you were 500 pounds. It would be very difficult. And you spent many years in your own personal prison, and your prison was your weight. It's a big thing to deal with, a big thing, yeah. A hard thing to deal with. Right, so you took medicine and you lost a lot of weight with the help of medicine, but when you could have just stopped eating as much as you did and watched what you eat, that would have been a better way of going about it, don't you think? Everybody wants the easy way out. Yeah. So there you are. Modern day, you're celebrating 1 year of being out of USA. That's what you're doing. And some people say, congrats, you made a year in another country. But the point is, what are you doing there? I don't really want to do a show about you and waste my breath here, but I think I want to just get it all out in one breath and discuss this. Um, Seriously, if I were you, I'd spend more time worrying about your own situation and your own life than worry about mine and stop being so obsessive. You're becoming another Don C, which is another case. People are in their retirement years, but they make me a priority in their life, which is very sad. I mean, I'm an interesting guy. I certainly am, but am I worth spending your whole life doing shows on? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Life is short. And I know a lot of us feel sorry for the handicapped and all that. That's a common way of thought with people. But when do you come to the point that whether somebody's handicapped or not, they just become very volatile? Do you excuse them because they're handicapped or they're brain dead? Where do you go with this? How should you treat a person who is mentally ill, like this guy is? You might say through no fault of his own, but as I said, nobody gets a bolo knife in their brain unless they did something pretty fucking radical. It's one of those situations, do you feel sorry for this guy because he had brain damage? Or do you say, fuck that shit? He must have done something pretty radical to get that fucking bolo knife in his brain. How do you look at this? Interesting point. Nevertheless, he is mentally ill. But does that excuse his behavior? Does that excuse him for what he says on his show? Do you give him brownie points for being mentally ill and say, it's okay? This is what he does. He's got a one-track mind about Frank, as well as a few other people. This is not living your life, Kevin. It's far from living your life. I'm trying to be nice about this. Kevin, you're not hurting my feelings by talking about me. I'm just thinking you're a real sad case. It's bad enough you left the country to try to prove something to people, but then you managed to go to Southeast Asia and you've done nothing with your life. Just by telling people the words, I'm killing it, it's been no proof to us that you're killing anything but yourself out there. You're not killing anything because you don't do anything, Kevin. You don't. You go for a walk to 7-Eleven to buy ramen. You go to some local bars that you could walk to get a meal occasionally. Sit down, buy a chick a drink so she could sit with you. Very artificial. It's artificial. But they also create artificial reefs in the ocean too to attract the fish. So this is basically Kevin's artificial reef. Go to a bar, buy a girl a drink, and she'll sit with you. It'll accommodate the prostitutes. Then recently he presented a photo that he took a long time ago of this. I'm assuming it's a woman. and I had to look twice. Is this a joke? Her head was probably 2.5 times the size of his own head, which is big already. And it looked like it could have been a ladyboy. It had very masculine features, and he was proud to display that. Some people are thinking that he's taken to ladyboys. Who knows? I don't know, Kev. Whatever makes you happy, I guess. Because, quite frankly, in the direction you're going in your life right now, your longevity is just not there, man. And that's the ultimate price you're going to pay. You talk about me all you want, Kevin, but there's an end to that. Just like there was an end to Fazio. It's just a matter of time. It's not when. It's not if, it's when. And I don't want to really laugh about your death, Kevin. I really don't. I didn't really laugh at Fazio's death, actually, as you might think. I did not. I knew it was going to happen, but you're on the same track as Fazio. So to me, you're not a problem. Not really, because you'll be gone someday. You're always thinking you're going to outlive me, but that's never going to happen. And that goes for a few people on here. It's just never going to happen. Ozzy Osbourne. I'm going through changes. But the thing is, Kevin, you're not changing, man. You're still the same milk dud that you are. You're a dud, dude. You're a dud dude. You know, put a little spice in your life a little bit, man. A little bit. I don't mean spice on your food. Spice things up there in Thailand, man. It's a spicy country, right? Spicy women. They got beautiful beaches. Enjoy life like you're trying to tell people that you're enjoying your life, but we haven't seen it yet. I can speak for myself. I have not seen you enjoying your life, except when somebody takes you out for lunch or dinner. Oh yeah, you're enjoying your life then because cause you don't have to pay for it. Oh, you got it down, all right. You got it down. You do. You got it down. I got to give you that, Kevin. You definitely got it going. You got it down. You know how to manipulate people very well. God bless you. God bless you, son. Okay. We got a quiet audience this morning, I guess. Nothing much different than that. Well, hopefully, your next anniversary, Kevin, is going to be, you know, you're going to be back in the USA. Back in the USA. Home, safety of your aunt and your cousins, and your church will be right there. You can put your little white shirt on, your black pants and shoes, and get back to what would be considered normal for your life. Some people were meant to travel and do this and do that, but yeah, under better circumstances, Kevin. Under better ones. Your circumstance was just not right. You took advantage of somebody paying your way. That gave you motivation. I get it, man. What you, as far as money, yeah, you'll get motivation. And the other thing we were talking about kids, well, at least I talk to my kids. Well, I don't even know that either. And as I said, I'll still stick to my guns on that one. You chose moving to a different country or visiting a different country over your own daughters and stuff, and you really should have visited them and spent the money to do that. I'm very adamant on that. I'm not going to change my tune on that one. If your kids are that important to you, that should have been your number one priority. Not to try to prove to people that I can do this. No, man, your number one priority, certainly in your case, because we have a different situation with my daughter, much different, but you, in your case, there is no excuse for that. And you made a lot of excuses. You made a lot of excuses about Philippines, paying off your immigration for that. You didn't want to do that because you were afraid to go back to the immigration. Excuse me. You were afraid to go back to the Philippines for various reasons, and you know what they are. We all know what they are. You are a perfect example of what not to do in life, and certainly what not to do in retirement age. But, Kev, I can't control what you do, nor do I care. I've even given you good advice. I didn't have to. I've even given you lots of advice. But as stubborn as you are, and of course you do have mental illness, and we're not making fun of mental illness, we're just saying, that sometimes people don't realize the degree of mental illness that they have. Like in your case, you become, what's that song? I become accustomed to her face. You become accustomed to your disability. You, in your own mind, what you got left of it, think that you're normal. Oh, hello, Princess. But you're not, Kevin. But I don't expect you to absorb what I say because you don't have the ability to do so. You're like another, you know, bummer situation. Same thing. He didn't have the ability to absorb what he says, what he does, his actions, everything else. It's like talking to a wall. Nothing more or less. You're going through changes. And you are, Kevin. You're going through a lot of changes. You're getting older, man. Join the club. It's a very big club out there. Welcome. Welcome to my world. And a lot of other seniors out there, Kevin. Welcome. It's a big club. Nice to belong to a club that'll have you as a member, isn't it, Kevin? Although if I had a club, I would never have you as a member. You would scare the guests away. Good night. You must be in America somewhere, Jacko Skill. Yeah, good night to you. 23 strong. I didn't even look at the numbers on there. Look at that. Kevin, you realize I'm just making a point, and on one hand, I'm trying to be kind, and I'm trying to hold myself back, and being really, really unkind to you. And if I really wanted to fire both barrels, you'll know. I'm just throwing 22s at you instead of 50 millimeters, okay? I'm trying to be as kind as I possibly can under the circumstances. The question is, how much should I tolerate from you? I mean, I don't have to tolerate anything, but then again, I don't have to let that bother me either. Under your circumstances, and especially yours, slightly different from others, but you have your own hills to climb, which you can't anyway. You couldn't climb a hill, nevertheless get up the steps to your apartment. You're having difficulty. You are a handicapped person, and as such, you're handicapped physically and mentally. And if your move out of the United States to go to another country was really, I think, pushing it really, and possibly even dangerous. A lot of people just move into another country, find a lot of difficulty dealing with things like, the culture and stuff like that. Everybody went through that. I still deal with it, it's not my original culture. And I have a lot of difficulty with that. But in your situation, it's a special situation because you're dealing with both a mental and physical disability. That makes it very difficult to actually enjoy yourself in another country. That's why we say that you belong back with your aunt and your cousins and all that. You had stability, you had safety, and you had also the ability to have access to good hospitals. You could use your Medicare, and most of that money, other than 20%, would be your responsibility. They pay for all your hospitalization, everything else that could come. So you had that safety net when you were in the United States, and a lot of us too, and that applies to me too. There was a safety net having Medicare being in the United States, which foreigners don't have. You can't use your Social Security's, your Medicare here, unfortunately, in Southeast Asia. It's too bad. They've been talking about doing that for years, but I don't really see that that's ever going to really happen. Certainly not in my lifetime, I don't think. It's too bad that it can't be universal insurance like that. Instead, you got to deal with some wacko insurance companies they won't reimburse you, or there'll always be a problem, or pre-existing conditions they won't pay for, and either pay out of your nose to buy these foreigner type policies, tourist policies, which is a total ripoff to begin with. And I got approved for one, and I decided not to take it for what they wanted to charge in the services. And if you had to pay for outpatient services, that'd be a lot of extra money on top of the very high price they were charging for your premium. It wasn't worth it to me, so I didn't get it. And there were certain limitations, lots of limitations. So when you hear people selling insurance for foreigners, there's not one good legitimate company that's going to actually pay you or pay the hospitals for every service. It's going to mostly be in hospital, even the medications. That's separate too, under all these policies, except if you're in the hospital, they will cover medications while you're in the hospital. But they don't have any outpatient service. They do, but the policies to get the cheapest one is going to be hospitalization only, which will cover medicines and stuff like that. But it's better to pay your own outpatient stuff because it's not that expensive, really. It's according if you have to go to rehab or something, then yeah, that can get expensive. But yeah, that's one of the things that us foreigners, expats, whatever, have to deal with in a medical emergency. We have a lot of hills to climb with that because if you don't live near a good hospital, and of course they're going to expect some kind of a down payment and a promissory note if you can't pay the whole thing. You're in a foreign country, dude, and if something happens to you over there in Thailand, you're fucked. And for a guy that doesn't like to take money out of his own pocket, well, you're going to be in a bad situation when something comes up. If you fall down those stairs up to your room, and you don't want to do that because if you break a hip, you're as good as dead in 12 months because your life will be even more sedentary than it is now. Because if you break a hip, you're not going to be able to get out of bed. And then who's going to take care of you, Kevin? There's nobody to take care of you out there. Big E is not going to come there and sit by your bedside and take care of you and be your nursemaid. You're not seeing the whole picture, Kevin. And I'm not the only one who's been trying to tell you this. There's been other people too trying to tell you this. You're not in an ideal position. You don't even have a woman to take care of you. And the chances of you getting a woman to do so, unless you pay her dearly, it's not going to happen. So you got more negatives going on by you being in a foreign country than you have by being back in the USA. That's my take on all this, and I think everybody agrees with me. I don't think there's one thing they disagreed with me. Whoever's listening to me is, you know, we had quite a bit, 24, I don't know what it was. I think they would all agree with me. They may not want to admit it because they're trolls, but and maybe want to support you, but fact is fact and fiction is fiction. You made a mistake moving out there, but I know you'll turn around later and say, no, it was just a vacation. No, it was your intent to move, but you couldn't hack it because your disabilities were more prominent than the activities that you would like to do, but you can't do. Mobility issues. And then having the cognitive ability to weed out somebody who's taking advantage of you, like the women that, you buy drinks for. But I think you're on I think you're definitely on a level of understanding with that, really. Is that the only way you're going to get a woman to sit with you is to buy her a drink? And you're already 63 years old. And how many years do you got left, really? You really think you're going to outlive me? Don't hold your breath on that one. Don't hold your breath. Don't asphyxiate yourself waiting for that to happen. Try to take care of yourself, but you can't do it on your own. You need a caretaker. You don't want to admit it, but you need a caretaker. But you will never put out the money for that, and you got the money for it. But you can save yourself a lot of trouble just by going back to the United States. At least there you got your aunt and cousins and people to help you in this emergency. Now, everything I've said on this show is true, and it's very sensible what I've been saying on here. You're not a good candidate to live in another country, bottom line. But you always got something that you're trying to prove to people, that you're killing it. And Kevin, you know, Ricky could use that expression, but he's not killing it either. He's killing himself the way you're killing yourself. Neither one of you are killing it in the way the word was meant, that your life is full of excitement. Well, I don't know if you want to call hanging around bars and paying bar fines to some chicks to sit with you or something, or whatever. I guess if you think that's exciting, I guess that's exciting. It wouldn't be exciting to me, but I'm not you. Thank goodness for that. I think in some ways, Kevin, you mean well, but you can't help yourself because you're so frustrated and bitter about your life and the handicaps that you have. That can create a lot of bitterness. So you see, I'm trying to be understanding of you. I'm trying to be understanding. Yeah, I'll throw in a few digs and shit like that too in the process of trying to understand you. But how do you divide, I don't know, feeling sorry for somebody because they're handicapped, but they're such a vile person? And you're a very vile person, Kevin. Now, is your mental and physical situation, should that excuse the things you do on your show or what you say about me or anybody? Should that be an excuse? I'm sorry, but I don't find that a full excuse to do what you do and say what you do. Then when you get ugly, then you start attacking my girlfriend. And there's no need for that. But you want to stir the pot, like Fazio did. Bang the pot, earn a lot. You trying to mimic Michael Fazio? Is that what you're trying to do? Keep in mind that Fazio was a nutcase, and you want to follow his path? Fazio had a path of destruction. Now he's dead. Think about it. You are on a path of destruction. You are not active enough to make your cardio healthy. I don't care what weight you lost, but you're gaining it back. We've seen your long walks, which is a matter of a few blocks. You can't walk a long distance. And you're in a beautiful country. I haven't been there, but, you know, beautiful beaches, explore the culture, not just sit on the stoop in front of the building that you're staying in and winking at all the girls that's going by, and they're looking at you as like, what's this Uncle Fester looking man with the brace on his leg doing? Get away from me. You're going to sit on your step out there like Barry used to do at Cliff's place with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth and hunched back, making rude comments to the women that walking by, that they didn't acknowledge him. He would call them stuck up or something. Barry did that a lot. You can't always get what you want in life. I can't get everything I want in life, but you know what? At least for me, Kevin, I've achieved my goal. Whatever I set out to do, I did it. No question about that. How many people could own a house in Hawaii, live there for 15 years, survive 15 years of a very expensive economy out there? I managed. How many people can do that? Kevin, you don't even own a property, and you've never owned a property. What have you accomplished in your life? What have you accomplished? Nothing but to make a fool out of yourself. In part, I totally understand that you can't help it because you're handicapped. You know, but I used to have a little friend, Bobby, when I grew up, Bobby Paterno, and Bobby was, well, they would call it at the time retarded, but now progressive society, they challenge, mentally challenged or something. And he was happy within himself. He didn't know anything better. In a way, some people were lucky to be like that because everything was wonderful to them. They weren't stressed by society or nothing, and they were in their own little world. Just like people who are autistic, they're in their own little world. And not many outside factors really stress them out. In your case, well, you did get damage to your brain from somebody hitting you with a bowling knife. I think certain functions of your brain is not reactive to environmental stressors or anything. I think you've kind of gone along with your handicap and you find yourself and you try to make a comfortable little niche in your life, which kind of works against you the way you go about it. So you think by sitting on your ass all the time and doing a YouTube show and being as toxic as you are is something that somebody 63 and getting older every day, and we all are, and you think that this is not toxic, you think it's what retirement should be all about, you think that's what your YouTube show should be all about, you might get a broader audience if you actually had topic matter on your show other than me. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm trying to be as nice about this as I can. And maybe the few things on here I said maybe it doesn't sound like a nicety to you, but I'm trying to be as blunt as I possibly can. I'd rather be that way. I'd rather say how I feel, what my thoughts are about your situation, to try to be a wake up call for you if that's even possible. And I'm not sure if it is. You're always trying to prove to people that you're living this great life, but you haven't showed any one of us what a great life you're living. I've never seen you with an actual girlfriend the whole time you've ever even been on YouTube. The whole time, and that's a long time. What is it, 10 years or whatever? I've never seen you with a genuine, repeat, genuine girlfriend. Not some chick at a bar that you bought a drink for. I'm talking about a steady girlfriend who you're in love with. Is at your side all the time. You haven't had that, Kevin. So maybe on your part, there's quite a bit of jealousy of the fact that, yeah, talk about one challenged person, a big Kev, yeah. And you're not getting anywhere in life. And Kevin, you're 63, and I was 63 once too, and now I hit the new number. And I'm telling you that life goes quick, man. The years go by really quick. I'm still really just trying to get grips of the fact that I reached my age and how fast time went. So, like in your case, you really need to find a way, get it off your mind about Frank, and just do something and enjoy your life. Stop pretending you're killing it because we all know you're not. Your biggest excitement is when Big E decides to visit you or one of these people, you know, they buy you free dinner. Oh, you love that. Free is good. Free is good. Thank the Lord. Free is good, right? Is that what it is? You can't be dependent on society. You cannot be dependent on the generosity of others all your life. And sometimes in life, you have to give back. Hello, Counterflow. And all my lovely fans. Lovely, right? Lovely. Sometimes you got to give back, Kevin. Stop being so tight with your money. You can't take it with you when you're croaked, dude. I'm just trying to be nice and say, I couldn't either. But I did something special for somebody that I really care for. You know, you're never going to own a house. That ain't never going to happen. That's not going to happen. You're never going to have the ability to own a house. You don't have any stability in your life at all. None. There is no stability in your life except for YouTube. That's your guarantee. YouTube. It's not even guaranteed either. You may get thrown off one day. Lose all your viewers and their subs. What are you going to do then? Commit suicide? You can't become that dependent on YouTube. And a lot of, including myself, a lot of us vloggers, we've been on so long that in a way it becomes almost like a dependency that you always have something to say. And I do. And we use it as a tool of such. And I use it as a tool of certain nature. I do. I think it's an outlet for a lot of us. Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I think it's an outlet even for the trolls. I mean, it's a you hit retirement, you're living in a foreign country, and you want to communicate with other people. That's understandable. We all do it, and I do it. But you need more than that sometimes. You need to have a foundation. You need to have a girlfriend, someone you can depend on, and somebody, yes, to be your caretaker. Absolutely, to be your caretaker. When you get older, we all need caretakers because generally, well, we know how it goes. The chick is always younger than you because that's what the expats want. The younger, the better, right? Yeah. Well, keep in mind that they're younger, they're going to be in a better position to take care of you one day when you actually need it. When you become totally immobile, Kevin, and you have problems walking as it is, always had weight problems, potential health problems waiting to come to say hello to you in a big way, it's going to happen. It might happen to all of us. If we're lucky enough, we may not get no catastrophic illnesses. Other than a bout of diarrhea now and then, which you could handle. Watch the magnesium, folks. And your life is just not going anywhere, Kevin. Now, here's the thing. Should I care? I really don't, Kevin. But I'm just voicing out what I see and what I witness with you. In a way, I guess I'm trying to help by even talking about this, but should I really care? I really shouldn't. Because you said some pretty vile and volatile things about me and my girlfriend and her family, which is wrong. And I don't care how fucking mentally fucked up you are, Kevin. You shouldn't do that. Think about what you say before you say it. If you say these things to try to hurt my feelings, well, let me inform you that you're not hurting my feelings, nor are you hurting the feelings of my girlfriend. We understand your mental illness, okay? We do think about that. We think of the source. Is there anybody else? If they're talking shit about me or something, I think about the source where it's coming from. That these people are very bitter, they don't have a life, they don't have a good, stable foundation like I do. Yeah, so there you go. Kevin has a better chance of owning a tent. Velo says, who is this E.T. Travel Freely clown? Is he a retired lady boy? I don't know. I see him making comments on Kevin's show or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care. He's another big troll. But you got to understand, a lot of these trolls, and put this through your head, folks, are the same people. Yeah. They're the same people. They're under sock account names. It's not like you have this cotillion of people that are attacking this guy named Frank. It's a lot of the same people under their other accounts. And a lot of you don't understand the concept of this, but I'm telling you right now, this is what goes on here. Even on Kevin's show, you may see a lot of different names on there of people. But they just switch over and make comments under another account name. That's what they do. Pretty much. I've seen this happen for years. And some of the biggest trolls are going under other account names, making it seem that there's a whole big audience that doesn't like Frank, but that's not true. All smoke and mirrors. Who is this for? Yeah, they're all clowns. It's one big circus of losers. So, Kev, to conclude your story, you live your own life, dude. And, nobody can really tell you what a life to live. They can suggest, and that's all I've done. That's all I've done. I don't have that much of an interest in you, except I will point out things that I hear and see in your case. You're in control of your own life, and at 63 years old, and you're not a young man anymore, Kevin. He calls me an old man. Well, Kev, what are you? Maybe in your mind, you're a little prepubescent child. Well, your behavior kind of shows that. It kind of shows out a lot. But you're a grown-ass man, and why don't you act like one? Find a real topic matter to talk about on your show. Try to show people, since you're always trying to prove something to people, you always seem to want to prove yourself, but it doesn't work. Try to come up and try to see if you have any intellect left at all in your brain, and surprise people and come up with different topic matters. You might actually get an increased viewership. There's a positive to that. Velo says some of the trolls are hoping Big Ego would give them a payday like Kevin received. Yeah, Kevin's not making a lot of money from the donations on there. If anything, Big E is giving him some money or whoever. It's all smoke and mirrors, like I said, And Big E pushes that too. See, Kevin made $1,800 last month or something like that. Well, if he made any money at all, it probably came from Big E. But Kevin doesn't make that kind of money on his show. I think Fazio did better than him. But to put a show on and make a total fool of yourself for money, how low will you go? Kevin, they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. I hate to tell you this, but I'll be very direct. They're laughing at you. What you look like, what you sound like, your behavior, they're all laughing at you, dude. Maybe I'd like to hear that, but maybe somebody needs to tell you that, and I'm the person to do it. I'm the man for the job. People are maybe afraid to speak out against you. They're afraid of what the other trolls are going to think or something, but I don't give a shit. Because I tell it like it is. I'm not afraid to do so. I'm not intimidated by anybody on here. I present the facts, that's it. And if it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. But think about some of the shit you do. You're 63 years old and you're not really enjoying your life. Not even remotely. I'm sorry, but you're not enjoying your life. I know, who are you to say whether I'm enjoying my life? I've said that a lot about myself to other people. Who are you to say I'm not happy? That's true. But in your case, it's very obvious. It's very obvious that you're not. And you're sitting in that apartment playing with your toys and doing YouTube shows about Frank. And more and more people are starting to say this. As in his last show, someone made a very pertinent comment on there. If I had the phone in front of me, I'd be able to show you that. But yeah. Savino says if Big Kev make 1,800, he must buy a lot of girls. Well, that's the whole thing. And not even the girls even want his money. They're afraid of some liability or something. You got this big galoot who looks like fucking Uncle Fester on steroids, and the way he talks and can't walk very good. You really think that some Thai chick or something is going to want to invest her time with him? And as I said, I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm being direct as I possibly can. Live and direct. I'm being as fucking direct as I possibly can. He's just not the kind of guy that's got that good shit going for him, man. Some people have the ability to be able to reach that point and actually get some fine women and stuff, and women that really give a shit about him. He doesn't have that ability. No matter how it was created. There you go. Tea time. No matter how it was created, whatever events went on in his life, the bolo knife incident and whatever. I mean, shit happens. Shit happens. And I'm sure he didn't want to get a bolo knife in his brain. But again, people, come on. You have to do something pretty fucking radical for somebody to attack you with a fucking bolo knife, man. Come on, get fucking real. He's not an innocent guy at all. But he tries to hide behind his mental disability to make people feel sorry for him and get donations and so forth. You want people to feel sorry for you or your life? Really? And that's how you get through life? Feel sorry for me. The paychecks are really good. Okay. You know, even I said on my worst days I've ever had, the one thing I go back on and I say, you know what? Things could be worse. I could be him or people like him. And it makes me feel really good about myself. I could be him. And thank the stars that I'm not anything like him or the other trolls. People get upset when you get your life together. They don't want to see anybody happy if they're not happy. That's kind of pretty normal human behavior, I think. Certainly these days. If you can't achieve what somebody else is, it's called jealousy. They say, oh, we have nothing to be jealous of you, Frank. They absolutely do. That's one of the common denominators on here. It is envy and it is jealousy. I've had people comment and say, Frank, that's all it is. I see it. I know you see it. They have not achieved the goals that they wanted to achieve. Whether it was actually living in the Philippines, which I've been 9.5 years. Well, count the time that I had to stay in Hawaii for a year, but I've had the association for, over 9.5 years to the Philippines. I've managed to get stable out here. I managed to find a woman I wanted. And there's a lot of people who haven't achieved that, so they get really upset with themselves. It's not that they're mad at me or they're mad at the world in general because they want what the other guy has and they don't have and they can't achieve. And I've made some fantastic achievements. I've dated other Filipinos in the beginning. I got fucked over by him. I learned a lesson, but some people don't learn a lesson. You got to learn from your mistakes. But through some hard effort, I did wind up with the right person, and we are actually living happy. And life's good other than that, other than legal shit and crap. I mean, we're fine. I'm better than fine. I'm very content with my life out here. Because, dotted my I's, crossed my T's. I did things in steps. Even buying the house was in steps 6 years later. It benefits me, it benefits her. We're all benefited by it. It works, in other words. It works. It works for us, It works for me. And that's all that matters, is that it works for me. Counterflow says, that guy is 63, dude, looks much older. Well, when you don't take care of yourself. Obviously, Kevin doesn't eat well. Well, he eats a lot. I mean, he's never going to starve. 7-Eleven down the corner. I mean, you know, you're not going to starve. They got the Slurpees, they got the ramen, which he eats a lot of because he's a cheap bastard. Hey, I'm just being direct. You're a cheap bastard. If you don't like that statement, fuck you. Again, I'm trying to get beyond the fact that, he has disabilities. We all have some kind of disability of some sort. But his is pretty extreme when you think about it. The weight problem he suffered most of his life and then getting brain damage and everything else. That's pretty severe shit. And it's really not to be made really fun of. But sometimes you can't help yourself when somebody's being such a bastard. Suddenly, you don't think about the guy's disability anymore. You just think he's a creep. Period. Of course you can't get a woman. It's not even his outward appearance. It's not even his outward appearance. It's not even that. Some people can get by that, and you might be able to find a woman that'll get by that. Well, look at some of these guys, the wives they have, or the fact that they're with any one of these trolls makes you say, what the fuck? It's got to be the wallet. In his case, he couldn't even really buy a date. He could buy a drink for a chick in a bar. Says, yeah, I'm killing it, man. I'm killing it. I always loved that expression. That's why I use it a lot. Ricky thinks he's killing it, but everybody knows Ricky's just killing himself. It's like a runaway train and the brakes are out. It's going to hit that dead-end wall at some point on the journey on the tracks. Kevin has hit that wall already a long time ago. All these wasted years in his aunt's apartment, but it's still a better setup than he has now. All those wasted years, no women, he didn't get laid. He was too fat to get laid. The mechanics, the geometry of it was just not there. He couldn't do it if he wanted to. Not even if he wanted to. You need an architect to figure out how does he get from point A to point B? How does he find his target with all that weight? And if he slips, he might crush the woman underneath him. Somebody's going to get hurt, himself or the woman. But it's not the Uncle Fester on steroids exterior, necessarily. It's not just that. It's a lot more than that. It's his whole persona. He's a creep. He likes hurting or trying to hurt people's feelings to make up for his own inadequacies. And he's got quite a bit of them. He's got quite a few. So I could definitely say it sucks being Kevin. Was it self-created? What is a bolo knife in his brain that did it all? No, he was a creep before that. He was a womanizer. When he didn't have the bolo knife in his head because of something radical he did, he was always a drinker. Okay, he was always getting into trouble. Whether it was in Alaska where he worked and lived, he was always getting into trouble. He drank a lot. He was cocky. He still is cocky. Yeah, he's going to give me a knuckle sandwich, he says. Yeah, try it, Kevin. Seriously. Who knows? I might be your neighbor someday. You talk about me being deported or something. Well, if that ever happened, Kev, maybe I'll decide to be your neighbor. I don't think you'd like that. I don't think you'd like that at all. You'd move immediately. And maybe I'll follow you around just for the halibut. Just to piss you off. No, you don't want to deal with me, Kev. I'm the least person you want to deal with. I think you know that. I think everybody knows that. I don't care what my age is. Fuck the age shit, man. Don't deal with me in a negative way. Expect to come out victorious. That generally hasn't worked in 10 years. Let's face it. Get my drift, Kevin? Or try to. I know it's hard for you. Of course, you're going to do a show this morning again so you can make some money. Let's talk about Frank because he talked about me. This is nothing different than the Barry and Frank thing, the back and forth shit that was going on with me and Barry. It's just another episode with a different person. But when you think you're winning or something, you're not winning anything. If you're looking for sympathy from people, and that's how you get by in life, that's not being a real man where you can't stand on your own 2 feet. And you literally can't stand on your own 2 feet because you have a problem walking. You got so many problems, Kevin. And because of that fact, hello, Umar. Because of that fact, maybe it's time to try to get your act together for how many years you got left. And it may be very limited under your situation. Don't forget, how many years have you gone being almost 500 pounds? You think that didn't do damage to your body? Do you really believe that? Or you just want to believe that? And you really think you're going to outlive me? Well, look, I don't know for sure. Anything could happen to me at any point in time, too. That's just life. True. But despite the fact that I smoke, which isn't good, I do most everything else in a great way, with some wisdom and technique and certain patterns and things I follow in my diet and otherwise, and even some exercise that you don't do. That's the secret of keeping active, Kevin. You're not active enough. Maybe I'm being held together by glue for all I know. But it's keeping the blood flowing is what's keeping me alive. And some of my good dietary practices, besides giving into a piece of apple pie here and there or whatever, or a chocolate chip cookie. The flesh is weak. The flesh is weak, but don't let yourself get that weak all the time and eat ramen and crap foods and expect something positive to come out of it, man. It hasn't worked for you so far, so wake up. Think about what you're doing wrong and try to correct it. And think maybe I need to go a different direction in my life instead of doing a show about Frank. Perhaps do some positive things for yourself. You have problems walking. See if you can get some strength to that leg. Exercise that leg. You got money, go to a local gym. You could work that leg. You could build the strength up in that leg where you may not even need braces on there anymore. Do you ever think about that, Kevin? But you're just so fucking lazy to do anything. And you don't leave that apartment except to go to 7-Eleven or to try to show people, see, I'm doing things. I walk down to 7-Eleven. See, there's a beach over there. Well, why don't you go to the beach? Why don't you go to the fucking beach? Beautiful beaches in Thailand. Why don't you go to the beaches and show us these beautiful... I'd love to see them too. Go and see. I'll watch it. Go to a beautiful beach and walk on the sand. Or try to. Exercise your leg in the process, because I think walking on the sand is an excellent way of building up, because there's resistance. The sand creates resistance when you walk. Okay? It's that resistance you need, not just a sidewalk. You need the sand is really good resistance for a walk, and you could build up the muscles in your legs. And you'll be able to walk better. Maybe someday you won't need that brace, but you're too fucking fat and lazy to give a shit. You want to mouth off that you're living a great life and you're healthy as a horse. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not healthy. Your time is limited. Well, all our time is limited, but yours especially is limited, Kevin. Your time is limited. Do you not understand that? Does that not mean anything to you at all? But you'd rather do shows talking about Frank rather than living life, finding a lifetime partner for whatever years you have left. So at least when you die with a smile on your face. You finally got laid or found somebody that really cares for you, Kevin. Do you know how much that means when you're in a senior to find somebody that cares for you? To know that when you leave this earth, and hopefully you'll go before she does, and generally the woman is younger, so generally in a perfect world, you'll go before her and she'll live a longer life. But wouldn't you like to have that special person by your side, not pose in a picture with some chick with a head bigger than Big E's head and expect to, people to be jealous and say, wow, you got a hot one there. I'm sorry, but the picture you show me of that chick, and I don't even say it's a chick, it's a man. The features were too masculine. So you'd have posed with a fucking lady boy and say, I'll be jealous of me. I've had this girlfriend for 9 months. No, you haven't. You haven't had one woman since you've been out there, except someone that you buy a drink for, or say, hey, I'll give you a couple of bots to pose in a picture of me. That's your life, Kevin? You mean that's your life? Seriously? Maybe I should feel sorry for you. Despite all your horrible insults Maybe I should feel sorry. Maybe in a way I do feel sorry for you. I'm glad I took the direction I did and things worked out for me. And the trolls hate that. When they get bitter with somebody, they hate when you're happy. But they're going to tell you how happy you are. Now, maybe, Kevin, maybe I've been wrong. Maybe you are happy in your own sick way. Because, mentally retarded people, God bless them, they live in their own world like a person who has autism. You might even have a form of autism. I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't analyzed it totally enough yet. Because you're not that important to me to totally analyze you. Just on a surface level, I've been able to come up with my own conclusions. But, I don't think you even realize what you're doing because you do it so well. It's part of who you are. And like I said, it's not always the exterior. I've seen women with the ugliest men in the fucking world, fatter than shit like you, but the guy had some internal fortitude. He had something to give. He had a good heart. He wasn't spending his life on YouTube like you're doing, particularly about me, being so obsessed about me, because that's what you are, Kevin. You are obsessed with me like Don C and other people. You are obsessed. You have an obsession with me because you're always trying to prove yourself right, but you don't do a good job of it. You do the opposite. You prove yourself wrong, and people are laughing at you. And people that knew to come on your show say, who's this fucking retard? Well, I'm not really calling you a retard, but your actions are like one. If I didn't know you and I just came in on your channel and the way your speech is, how you look, like Fester on steroids, I would think the same thing too, Kevin. I'm not trying to be that harsh on you. I'm trying to give you a dose of reality. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm giving you a dose of reality. I'm giving you a reality check, dude. You made a mistake of moving to another country, but you had to do that to just prove something. You're always trying to prove something that you're happy when you're not. I know, who am I to say, and I've said it for other people that say I'm not happy. I'll agree with you on that. Who am I to say that somebody else is not happy? I say that myself. And who are you to prove that I'm not happy, I'm not in a great relationship? Okay, I'll bite on that, But we can see it with you. That's the difference. I already got the woman for 9.5 years. I don't have to prove anything on that. And we do have a loving relationship, and everybody knows that. They know that. And a woman would not be, house or not, would not be with me for 9.5 fucking years if I didn't have some kind of qualities that kept her with me. And we're not talking about a wallet, because I really don't have a big wallet. If it was the wallet, then she would have left me a long time ago. The house, 6 years into the relationship, Kevin. 6 years. I didn't just get off the banana boat and just, hey, I'm going to buy you a house if you stay with me. Unfortunately, a lot of foreigners do that. It's sad and it's sickening just to hear that, what a simp they are. That's a genuine simp by definition. Hello, Mr. Loser. Kevin's whole life is YouTube and talking about you. It's sad when he almost begs people to come on his live stream with him. Well, one of the things I get a chuckle at, I said it on yesterday's show. You ever see like when Jay comes on a show with somebody and they're knocking me? And there's Kevin on the other image on there, right? Yeah. Right, get him, attack him. That's it, Jay, attack Frank. I like it, do more. Join the club, come on, I need backup. That was sad and sickening, wasn't it? That's what he does. And he has people like Jay on his show, amongst the biggest fucking losers on YouTube. All his audience is a bunch of fucking losers. That's all they are. They're all a bunch of fucking losers. And he's proud of his audience when they're all trolls. I don't think he has one person on his show that's not a troll. Oh, I got trolls. People visit me. I know they go under different names. I'm not that stupid. I already know that I got trolls on here. I'm cognitive of that. I know that to be true. But Kevin will take whatever he can get for backup. He'll take whatever the hell he can get. Yeah. I'm going through changes. Well, you are, Kevin. You're getting old. Face it. Old man Frank, you call me. Take a look at yourself. I can find a song to every occasion in your situation, Kevin. You know that. You're not living the life of Riley, my friend. You're not living the life of Riley. You wish you were that guy, Riley. Where is Riley anyway? I don't see anybody living the life of Riley out here. Where's Riley? Hey, we're all going through changes. I go through changes all the time, man. Just getting older, man. Be just, realistic of the fact. You're not getting younger, Kev. You got to get your shit together, man. Look, I know things like this is hard for you. I'm trying to be a little bit easy on you. It's really hard to do that after all the insults you put my way all the time. It's very hard to try to go easy. It's very difficult for me. Under the circumstances, it's very difficult. I'd like to say a good word about you, Kevin, but the fact is I just can't think of a good word for you. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. I can't think of anything good to say about you or anything you talk about. I just can't. Hope you understand that. Do something good, I'll comment on it. Absolutely. I haven't seen you do anything good on your show or talk about any kind of a topic that anybody wants to listen to in a right mind, except for trolls, beyond the offense of me. You're a ringmaster in a circus. Don't you understand that? You're the ringmaster of a circus. We even have a guy called Flying Circus. They're all circus clowns. And you're the head clown. Can you fathom this? Can you understand this? You're going through changes. Admit it. Kevin, I got 1% battery and I got to get off here. But let me leave off by saying, Kevin, you're in control of your own life. If this is what you want to do with your life and just do a channel talking about me, and you're wasting your life like you are, you're in a place you shouldn't be. You know it. You shouldn't be in another country. You're not built for it, mentally or physically. You're just not. And you're always dependent on the generosity of others when you have money. You got money, Kevin. You just don't want to spend it. Be generous every now and then. People have been generous to you in a lot of ways that you don't deserve, by the way. You don't deserve. Get your act together. You're 63 years old now. Get your act together. And I know you're going to come back doing a show. You're going to be attacking me again. But you see, Kevin, I expect that from you. I expect it from you. I expect nothing less. But it's you that has to live that life, not me. That's the point. You call me every name in a book, whatever you want to do, but I'm not you. That's the great thing about it. I'm not you. And you got to live that pathetic life without a real girlfriend, without finding love in your life. And I've got that much on you, Kevin, that you'll never have on me. You can call me every name in a book that you want. You're not phasing me at all. I'm looking at your life. I'm looking at your lifestyle. And I'm saying, what a poor, pathetic human you are, or subhuman, that it sucks to be you. That's my show. Get a life, Kevin. A real life.
And we're going to have a little word about the Van Tyen monkey here in just a minute. We're at the Batu Caves, Hindu Temple Complex in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I woke up this morning and there were a slew of messages from people saying that the little dipshit did a show attacking my children. Now, we're going to just report it, of course, because you can't attack children, Filipino children, you moron. But we'll push that along, like all your other reports that are out there about you. But I won't waste my time watching anything he says. I haven't watched him in a long time. I did watch the analysis, the brilliant analysis by the Copycat channel. So, yeah, check it out. This is Monkey Central around here. I'm going to do a full upload on the main Batu cave complex. Those are my children right there that he's attacking. They're my children. I'm not raising another man's children. I'm not with a married woman committing adultery in the Philippines. But nevertheless, people have asked me, why is the little dipshit the way he is? I'm going to give you my theory. Now, Mick Fisher and Nico have both met him in real life. I haven't. I have not. So Nico says that he is 5'2", and Mick said he thought he was about 5'4". So there's a slight difference in their opinion. They both said that Barry is considerably taller. And you have to understand why the motivation to always attack everybody. Children, women, you name it. Because he's a coward, and all he can do is attack behind the keyboard and file cases. He doesn't like it when people file it on him, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest sin that this mental midget is that he is a hypocrite. But why does he do it? Well, can you imagine growing up, being only 5'2" or 3, having orange hair and freckles? See, Mick and I were both athletes in high school. And do you think that men would rather be 6'6" or 5'2"? What do you think? Do you think people are clamoring to be 5'2" with orange hair and freckles? You never are on the sports teams. You're always overlooked. Even in his career, what was his big claim to fame? Canning salmon and the condoms and the glory holes. Never held anything higher than the minimum wage type of job. And he is just jealous of anyone who's having a good time in life, anyone who got up to a higher position, which is basically everybody. He is a jealous person. Who would want his life? Who would be thumping their chest that they're with another man's family, with a married person with 8 children? Who is going to sit there on a dusty island, on an anthill, and you think people are jealous? You must be out of your mind. The reality is he's jealous. You notice he's only attacking people who are taller than him, which is basically everybody in the community. And then, of course, he's got his 3 trolls who bait him. He doesn't have the intelligence. You should see the writing that this guy does. He can't even put a sentence together. Completely lacking in intellect. Completely lacking in accomplishments. Quit work at age 40 or 41. Went out on stress leave. This guy is an absolute clown at the highest level. So I'm not going to respond anymore. I'm not going to go tit for tat with this person. I'll let the government do what they need to do with all these things. You know, whatever cases and whatever new cases are going to be filed. Certainly, when you're attacking someone's children, especially when you don't know what you're talking about, especially their education, when all of them are in school, in an international school, years ahead of even private schools in the Philippines, and you're going to spend your days attacking them, well, you are going to have to pay for that. We'll let the government decide. We'll let the law decide that. So that's going to be my final word. I'm not going to go tit for tat because this loser only wants attention. He has no friends. There's not one person he can ever go have dinner with, that he can hang out with. You know what? You can always tell a red flag when an expat says, I don't want to live around other expats. I want to live around locals. They say that because no expats want to be their friend, and no local wants to be their friend. Locals aren't looking to have friends in the Philippines. They don't hang out with white people and, chit chat and have dinner. completely isolated. All the guy has in his life is ranting on YouTube. It's just a mockery, a clown, a shell of himself, a buffoon. Come on, what other adjective can we use? Whatever you can think of, it probably applies to him. So anyway, that is my reply to all my friends who sent me clips or told me about the recent attacks. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. I don't have the slightest interest. But when I'm told about it, I'm going to do something, and we will take the appropriate steps if there is an attack on innocent children, which is the history of this person, doing things with innocent children. So we'll let the law decide. The law. We'll do it legal-like. All right, everybody. I'll do another video climbing up these stairs. It's like 300 stairs up into the Batu Cave complex. Biggie, I'm broke, over and out.
Well, there you go. There you go. All I heard was insults, personal attacks on me. And he wonders, well, why he gets attacked by others himself. Nobody's ever talked bad about his children. If anything, people such as myself and others have commented and saying that they were concerned, underline that word, concerned about his children. His children are not my topic, but through other people who have commented on my show and other shows, they mentioned about things like education, certain stability issues, etc. Now, nobody's attacking his children. Why would anybody attack his children? They're the innocent parties in there. There's no reason to attack his children. That would be callous. I'm definitely not attacking his children. I'm pro his children. I wish them the best. But people besides myself have pointed out certain issues that they felt were conditions that the children, the chitlins, as he called them, not even kids, the chitlins, that they thought they were being deprived of a solid education, not being able to settle down in one place and have the right socialization that most children at that age certainly need for growth. I think that's all the commenters were saying on that. And people listened to his show, and they'd come up with the same comments over and over again. Yeah. Wow, Biggie is on a roll. Now he's, what's that? Now his girlfriend, let's just stay engaged with your order. Okay. Now his girlfriend make pretty babies. He says he never listens to my show, but he constantly listens to my show. I'm on his notification bell. Don't be suckered into thinking that. But that was pretty low for him to say that I'm attacking his children. Nobody's attacking his children. Not even remotely. I think a lot of people have a concern about his children. Country to country, not one school, not one this and that. That's all. I think people are just concerned. But he had to gear it toward me that I'm on a personal attack. No, he's on a personal attack of me. And yes, I've been saving videos too, Eric. So have I. I'm not that stupid. I've been there before. I've been down this road before. And this is one video that, and the reason I recorded is in case you take it off. And this I will keep on here. I will always have it. And if I need to utilize this video and others that I've collected, it's not going to look good for you in a court of law if it came down to that. Nobody, but nobody, and certainly not me, is attacking your children, sir. How dare you say some shit like that, you piece of shit. You absolute fucking piece of shit to say something like that. That's really hanging it low, which you do all the time. Look, I don't give a motherfuck how much money you have. I don't give a shit. But if you're wrong, you're wrong. Nobody's attacking your kids, sir. And I wouldn't do that, sir. My God, what a puss this guy is. Christ almighty. I kind of wish the monkeys would have bit your fucking ass. He gets off on this kind of stuff, this kind of shit. Let's find the best we can on Frank. Let's find the best. Let's fuck him up. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people on Discord that are doing the job for many, if you're not aware of. Don't look at me for that one because I have nothing to do with that. You know, water seeps its level. That's all I can tell you. Trying to make me out to be the bad guy, but every single show, there's some mention of me at least. Majority of his show, there's some put down. And this show here that I recorded is a good example of his put downs. Let's present that in a court of law. Because I counted insult after insult after insult on there on my character, everything from my height to my character. Insult after insult after insult after insult. What do you think of that, Eric? I've got all your videos, pal. Gather your own, but I got all my videos. You're driving. Okay. That's all I want to say. I already did a big show. But I felt I really wanted to record this. And just have it there for when I need it. Let's see. See what else I got here. God, I got so many. I can't even. I'm about the show prior to that. But from the beginning of this show, this is one that was 18 hours ago. Okay, well, anyway, I established in the beginning whose show it was, titlement and everything else, date and all that stuff. That's the kind of stuff I do. Yeah. I got evidence too, Eric. I got lots of evidence. Lots of evidence. You want to start trouble, I'll give trouble back, and you know I will. You're in the wrong. You're in the wrong. You've been attacking me for a long time. And anything I've ever said about you on YouTube is what you put on or any other media. It was Facebook. We know what you said on Facebook. People got a copy of that. It had to do with your relationship. Why did you go public with that? That's the question. Why did you go public with that and make a fool out of yourself? That's what you got to think. Why did you go public with that? People see your lifestyle. They have a lot to say about it. But like I said, it's a to each his own type of thing. But you're with this so-called moral turpitude all the time. But I think the point is that a lot of people don't see all this moral turpitude going on in your life. I think that's what it is. There's nothing moral about a lot of things you do, and by your own evidence of your shows and what you talk about. People have their own interpretations of things. I have mine. Moral turpitude? You got to be kidding. I don't see there's any moral turpitude at all. I don't see where you're grounded in any way. All you do is carry that fat wallet around with you and use it as a power tool. I should call you Makita. The money power tool. Makita. Change your name. But I'm just keeping this for evidence. Anyway, that's all I had to say. And others. Watch what you say too, Eric Dowell. Watch what you say too. And nobody, and you'll never prove that in a court of law for anything if you had to. I've never been on the attack of your children, you piece of shit. How dare you even imply that? How dare you even imply that? You must be getting desperate. I'm pro your children. I am pro children. And might as well go after everybody else too, because everybody has talked about the situation with your children. They had their own opinion on that, and that's their opinion. That's it. You could have yours, but nobody could have theirs. Is that the way it works? In your kingdom? No, that's not the way it works. Our Discord is quiet. Okay? Who cares? You know what they say about you on Discord, Eric? A lot of things. A lot of people are talking about you and your lifestyle. But it is yours. I'll say that. It is yours. But don't say I'm on the attack of you in that way. Don't especially say I'm on the attack of your children. Ever. I'm not on the attack of your children. How fucking dare you even say that, you low-class son of a bitch, for saying something like that? No, Eric, I don't like you, and I never fucking did, and I never will. But keep eating the way you are, and you won't be a problem for me or anybody anymore, just like Fazio went out. There is justice in life itself. There is justice. And it doesn't always have to be in a court of law. It could be in life itself. See what I'm saying? I hope you are.
Eric is a biggie.
That's who he is.
You said Frank's attacking your kids, but you attacking me with the 8 kids.
What right do you have to do that? So what if she does have 8 kids, Eric?
Yeah, if I got 8 kids, so what's your problem?
Why do you have a problem with that? Have you ever heard me attacking his children?
No, I don't hear it attacking. Just said about like you have a kids like that, but not attacking. But you always attacking my kids.
And she's a Filipino, remember that too. A little precedence here. Just keep that in mind, Eric. You know, you seem to want to find every fault with me that you possibly can. But you're forgetting that I have all your videos, and even a more recent one, that's not going anywhere. Well, you're attacking me and making claims that I've attacked your children. Isn't enough, Eric? Or do you live by this shit? Are you just upset because I put Barry in jail and you couldn't have it your way? But you see, Eric, you can't have your way all the time. I know you're a spoiled man, you know, and you lead with your wallet. We understand that. You lead with your wallet. But that doesn't get you everywhere in life. You committed a lot of wrong yourself. Nobody ever is talking bad about your children, and my viewers could definitely qualify on that. But you want to get ugly, we'll get ugly too. And you've been knocking Gilda a lot. We've got all that too. Talking about I'm pretty much a waste of a person because I didn't have a professional job like you. Hey, I had honest jobs. My jobs were honest. I wasn't sucking money off people. I wasn't sucking money on my YouTube channel. And you're very abrasive. I know, you lead with your wallet. Your wallet is your little power pocket, right, Eric? Is that what it is? Your wallet is your little power pocket? It's not just money, Eric. It's fact versus fiction. It's what you said about me and Gilda. If you want to get ugly in this, we'll get ugly. I don't care. You know me. I have no problem with that. Obviously not. I pursue things. But nobody, I'm saying this again, nobody ever talked bad about your children. There's no reason to. But you sure talk a lot about a Filipina, the fact that she has 8 children. So, well, but she has 8 children. What's your problem with that? It's not yours. It's not your children, Eric. What the fuck do you care about that? As if she's a bad person because, well, you know, Filipinos are known to have many children. How many children do you have? How many women? Think about that. It's not just one woman. I think you got children in the United States too, don't you? You can't afford to talk, Eric. Anyway, you heard Gilda. She's not happy with you on that either. And she's Filipina, keep that in mind. Okay? And why did you move out of the Philippines? Yeah, you don't want to get into that, do you? There's a lot of shit, a lot of skeletons in people's closets, Eric. And you have a lot of skeletons in your own, and you know it. And you have no right. Oh, it's all right. You say I'm attacking your kids. Well, obviously I'm not. That was a lame statement to begin with. But you're attacking Gilda, who's a Filipina. As if she'd done something wrong for having 8 children. And you're attacking me for being with a Filipina who has 8 children. As if they're all living in my house. And what if they did? They're obviously not. But what if they did? It's none of your fucking business, Eric. It's none of your fucking business. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Supposed to be like a businessman. Don't you got better things to do with your fucking life? But you're just not happy until somebody's miserable, are you? What kind of a life is that? If you want to live by somebody else's misery or create. I know you're behind Shaw's thing. I know you're behind the financing of the lawyer. You think I'm stupid? I'm not that gullible, Eric. I'm sure you're behind all that. I'm sure you've been financing her. That's my opinion, and I'll stick to it. I'm not going to change it. Why don't you mind your own business, Eric, and I'll keep to mine. But don't be accusing me of saying things bad about your children. Show me something bad. Put the proof. You like to put proof up. Put the proof where I'm attacking your children. Never attacked your children. It's like your good friend Shaw saying that I'm attacking her, that I've called her a whore and a prostitute, which I obviously never did, that I'm some kind of a physical threat to her. I never even met the woman, which I'm not a physical threat to her. Legal, that's another thing. That phony report she put in was made with malice. It was made with malice. The same as you. Everything is malice with you. Live your fucking life, Eric. Have a harem, whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't really care. But stay out of my fucking business. Or I'll make you my business. And you know I will. You're trying to drain me dry in my bank account. Isn't that what it is? Well, how do you know how deep my bank account is, Eric? Maybe not as deep as yours. I don't even know that to be, somebody could have cleaned you out of most of your money. I won't get into that. It might be a fact. But nevertheless, either way, stay out of my fucking business. That's what I'm telling you directly on here. Stay out of my fucking business. Go on with your life. Whatever you call a life. But yes, it is your life. As well as mine, it's my life too. Leave the kids out of the formula. That's hitting low. I have nothing against your kids. I think they're good kids from what I could see. But nobody's ever talked bad about your kids. And the same as your good friend Shaw. In her affidavit, all bullshit, non-valid. I know you paid for the lawyer for her. I'm not stupid. I know you're still behind all that. I'm not stupid. I'm not gullible. I'm not that naive. Mind your own fucking business, Eric. You like complicating your life? Do you live for that stuff? Maybe you do. Maybe it's the excitement that you need in your life. You're upset that I got Barry in jail? Well, why didn't you fucking help him, Mr. High Roader? Why didn't you fucking help him? He's still laying in a fucking prison, a sweltering fucking prison. Why are you not helping him? If you believed in Barry's cause, why are you not helping him, sir? Oh, you're afraid that I'm going to get some money. Well, seems to me that you are supportive of Barry Lee Jordan. You put that kind of shit inside because you're so concerned about him. You just want to see him get out of prison, go home, right, Eric? Isn't that the whole concept? So why aren't you helping him? Fuck what he owes to me. That's just part of the court procedure that they decided. He can't get away from that. But meanwhile, he rots in that jail cell. Where's all your compassion? Mr. Compassionate. You don't have any. Everything is a game to you. If you cared that much about Barry, he'd be out of there by now. Not worrying about whether he's made to pay me X amount of money as part of the court agreement and penalties. That's what they gave him. And he's not getting out of jail till he pays that. So you're sitting there, Mr. Pro Everything, Mr. Good, Mr. High Road, but you're letting somebody that you feel is not getting the proper justice, right? That he shouldn't be sitting in a prison cell. Isn't that what you said? And your good buddy Mick, very supportive of getting Barry out of jail, but neither one of you do anything. Sure, you helped his girlfriend out, but you're not doing nothing for him. You're not doing anything for him whatsoever. Gilda wants you to keep her name out of anything. And never mind how many kids she has. Mind your own fucking business when it comes to her reproduction rights, how many kids she has, and whether you think or not that they're all being living here and I'm supporting the family, which of course is not the case. But we're talking about Eric Dowell, who likes to make a lot of shit up. That's Eric. He likes the drama. Isn't there enough drama in your life when you really think about it, Eric? And you know everything I'm talking about. Isn't there a lot of drama in your life? Aren't you hanging on a thread financially sometimes because of certain events? And, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to spell it out, dude. Mind your own fucking business. Keep out of mine. You got a problem with me, that's fine. You don't like me, that's fine. I don't like you either. I can't stand you, in fact. But keep out of my fucking business. Keep out of my business. And stop attacking even other people, besides myself, that have an opinion about you. You have your own opinions, and that's okay. But when somebody else has an opinion, it's not acceptable, is it, Eric? It's not acceptable. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody should be able to have an opinion. They just need to back it up. That's the difference. Everybody watched your shows. They've listened to you for years. They know your whole situation. They know your character. People know more about you than you think they do. Keep that in mind. You're an instigator. You're an antagonist is what you are. And you live with that drama. Keep your own kids out of the picture. Because your kids are not ever spoken of in a bad way by my mouth. And that's a fact. You remind me of the report that your very good friend Shaw put in, that you helped out with quite a bit, didn't you? You were behind all of that, certainly financially. You personally don't believe what she's put on that report. I know you don't. I know you could separate fact and fiction, but you'd rather go with the fiction because you want to support her. You don't want to see me being right when you know I am, but you'll never admit it. I obviously read the affidavit over 10 times. I know what she wrote in there, Eric, and she is in the wrong. She's absolutely in the wrong. Keep that in mind. But keep Gilda out of your fucking mouth. Don't worry about how many children she has, because it's frankly none of your fucking business. It's none of your business. And she's not very happy with you either, I'll tell you that much. It's one thing to fuck with another foreigner, but don't fuck with a Filipina. Her. She's not as laid back as you think she is. You have no idea when it comes to her and her children. You got a problem with her having 8 children. Why is that? 8 legitimate children. 8 legitimate children, Eric. Legitimate. They have a real father. One man, Eric. They have a legitimate last name, Eric. Get my point? Made my point. There's things I take notice. Oh, let's see. Oh, that looks bad, girl. How much cortisone I have left? I gotta do something. The timing is bad here. I gotta get more cortisone. Dog scratches at herself a lot. And got some pretty intense skin irritations. Jesus. There's one thing I noticed. There's something I don't understand. I really don't understand. I admit it, I don't understand. You got a lot of money. different things you could do to take care of things with money. Dental features. Oh, I don't know, skin problems. I don't see a lot of dudes doing that for their women. I really don't. I don't see that enough on here. Oh, they spend and spend on this and that, and they travel. They do all kinds of stuff, but they love their women to death, supposedly, all that. But I don't know. Sometimes you get people who got these wives with certain features. Buck teeth from here to fucking eternity, man. You know? They don't do anything about that. I don't understand that. Anyway. I was looking at some interesting caricatures on here. Some people have no reason to live. They got paltry eyes. They got big disguise. They got all kinds. A big surprise. I don't know. Some people have buck teeth and some people have buck teeth. Some people have buck teeth. Da-da-da-da. Afternoon. Randy says, word is buck teeth is a fetish. My girlfriend's got kind of a little overbite. It's certainly sexy, but some people, they have like these big ass fucking buck teeth. And you ever see people that have this smile where their teeth show all the time. They come out far above their jaw. But did you know to an animal that means a threat? Did you know that? An animal sees you exposing your teeth by a monkey or a dog or something. Oh yeah. I like a little overbites. I love that. But plain old buck teeth from here to fucking eternity? Come on. If you got the money, get it fixed, man. Fucking A, man. I don't know. I've never liked a teethy smile. And unfortunately, I do have teeth, but I don't have a teethy smile. Well, Kevin, for example, he has a few teeth on the bottom, but he has no top teeth. You never see any teeth in his mouth unless he actually shows you it. Yeah. All this money these people have, but they don't take care of their own teeth. I never understood that. Understand what you look like to an animal, to a dog or somebody. Hello, doggy. He sees your teeth out like that, he's going to think like, fucking hey, this is a threat. You see, when an animal exposes its teeth to other animals, that's a threat. I don't know if you guys knew this. Yeah. Check the feet, too. Lots of guys go gung-ho for funky toes. I don't know, my brother's son, Jesse, he has a fetish for feet. I don't know why. I don't know what's sexy about feet. I still haven't figured it out, but everybody has their own fetish, I really don't have any fetishes I could think of, really. If it looks good, it looks good. I don't know. Yeah. On some people, according to what it is, But in the animal kingdom, you expose your teeth to an animal, you're looking for trouble, Jack. Who are you talking about, Velo? Oh, you didn't say anything about it. Oh, you heard the other broadcast. You didn't say anything about his kids. That's a made-up lie. Wondering if his kids should be in a classroom is not talking bad about the kids. Well, you're correct about that, sir. Yeah. He's just trying to find trouble, that's all. That's all it is. He's trying to find fault, and he can't with that, because I never talk about his kids that way. I don't think any of you folks that have talked anything about his children, if anything, I think you were just concerned. Give yourself a little credit for being concerned. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. People have had their opinions just like he has opinions. They're not always right, and they're mostly a lie, but people are subject to their own opinions. And I would respect his opinion if it was actually valid, okay, about anything, Hand dwarfism is something I can't... Hand dwarfism? Damn. No. That's a little weird, I'm sorry, but It's just like how, you know, how these skinny little guys, 80 pounds, they go out, these women 350 pounds, and they love the big girls. Oh, they love the big girls with a passion. I never understood that. Or maybe the other way around. I don't know. But, everybody has their own fetishes about stuff. I don't have any fetishes I'm aware of. I like a woman with a little bit of an overbite. Gilda has an overbite. They make fun of her teeth, but I find it really sexy. She doesn't have buck teeth. That's the whole thing. She has like a little overbite, like Jean Tierney, the old actress, and Alan Alda, when he was on MASH. They did a show in there once where he was talking about Jean Tierney, the actress, and she had this cute overbite, and he loved her overbite. And some women, like I'll tell you who else who played on the Brady Bunch, and what was her name? She still looks good today. The older gal that was dating, actually, he dated Florence Henderson too. Actually, from the show he did, he got around. But what was her name on the Brady show? She had a nice little overbite, and it was really cute. Yeah. His kids are cute, but he is definitely Sasquatchism. Okay. No comment from the peanut factory. But yeah, an overbite can be sexy, but plain buck teeth, like buck naked. I always wondered what that meant, buck naked. Do you remember George on Steinfeld? He was upset because they went to this lake resort. You remember that one? And George was just starting to see this chick, and he never seen her undressed before. So George and Kramer and Elaine and whatnot, they're outside on the bench in front of the door at this lake resort. And, George's supposed girlfriend goes in. She goes to so-called change off. She wants to go swim in the lake. And she comes out naked. And George, I think, wasn't there at the time. I don't know what he was doing, taking a shower or something. George wasn't there, but everybody else saw George's girlfriend naked before George did. And George goes, she was naked. Well, she was naked from the waist up, okay? Naked, like in buck naked? And there's yeah, yeah. And George just got really pissed off because everybody's seen his girlfriend's boobs before he could even see them. That was a good episode. Poor George. Tell me it's not lupus. Tell Philippines Antics Heidi it's not lupus. It is. It is. But people have a way of making fun of other people for their features and all that stuff, And some of it is funny, Now, why is it culturally that I see this a lot in the, when I say that, Chinese or Japanese? Maybe Japanese culture. That they all wear these round glasses and they got buck teeth. You ever see that, a lot of it? And they got like this bowl haircut. Their hair comes right across, like they cut around with a bowl. And something about, it has to do with the contour of somebody's face. Somebody told me the answer to that. Actually, it was one of Gilda's kids told me, or her daughter, something told me about that. And I said to her daughter, I said, why is it that there's a lot of Asians that wear these round glasses instead of the standard issue type, And they said, well, it has to do with the contour of their face. And like the Japanese or Chinese, whichever, they have a certain kind of a contour to their face. It's more round. So basically, they wear round glasses because of the contour of their face. Yeah. Ain't that something? But some people have an overbite that's so absolutely, the slightest smile, not even a smile, and their teeth just stick out like some rabid animal. And I tell you the truth. I don't like looking at some woman's teeth. You ever see some women with a really teethy smile? That doesn't turn me on, man. I'm looking at something that digests food and could bite you. It's scary, man, sometimes. Watch out for these choppers, man. My boots are made for walking, but my teeth are not just made for talking. They're going to bite your ass. No, I'm not turned on to women with buck teeth like that. An overbite? That's the whole thing. Turn me on, baby. A nice little overbite. Nothing terrible, but, a little suggestive. And that's a turn on for me. But at the same time, I don't want that combination with a very teethy smile either. I don't want that. That doesn't turn me on. Have teeth, and I'll recognize you have teeth. Maybe you see the teeth a little bit when they smile, and that's cool. But somebody that doesn't have to smile, and the way their lip contour is, everything their mouth contour is, that their teeth show out all the time. I don't like looking at somebody's teeth while I'm eating dinner, especially, okay? But that's just me, That's just me. Keep your teeth in your mouth. Cover it with your lips. When you smile, maybe we can see little teeth. That's acceptable. But when you walk around, no, man, that don't turn me on at all. Come on, get braces or something, man. Seriously, some animal's going to bite their ass someday, You can't expose your teeth in the animal world. You gotta understand that. It's a serious matter. You get some crazy dog out there, some animal, or a white tip shark. They're going to bite your ass. Oh, my. I never really talked about this subject before, but I thought I would. Because I take notice of things like that. I do notice people, I really do. And somebody walks around with a fucking smile that they can't help. I mean, it's nice to smile than to frown, right? We all agree on that, right? Yeah. But when you have teeth that you can't hide, and what if they don't take care of their teeth and they're yellow or green and you got mold growing on it? You want to look at that shit, or you just ate a meal and they got strings of meat hanging off it, or, or parsley or some shit, or spinach hanging off their teeth. Do you really want to look at that? I don't know. I don't. There might be some fetish to somebody, but it's not to me. Teeth, as Barry would say, teeth. He had no teeth. In fact, Big Kevin only has a few teeth on the bottom of his mouth. I don't think he has any on top. So how does he eat shit? Well, he eats a lot of ramen, so he could just suck it down, right? He could just suck that puppy down. No problem, man. No problem at all. No problem. I'm in a funny mood this afternoon. Forgive me. It's rather better to be in a bad mood. Having a good day. As I always do, generally. I didn't have it last night, though. Magnesium glycinate, my friends. Oh, have some grains before that. You get the picture? Yeah, how about 3 times to the CR? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking about cleaning out the pipes. Oh. Buddy girl, the pipes are calling. They're calling you. The pipes are calling you tonight. Sometimes you got to clean out the pipes, you know what I mean? The plumbing, you know what I'm saying about the plumbing? All kinds of plumbing. Sometimes you got to clean the pipes out now and then. Kevin needs to clean his pipes out in a big fucking way, if you know what I'm saying. Poor sucker. Damn. But anyway, teeth. I got all my teeth, just that they're capped. Last longer. And people don't really understand what they do. You still have your natural teeth. What they do, They have to chisel it down so they could cap them with the caps. What they do. Some people get veneers. I never got veneers. That's cheap shit. Well, I don't like it anyway. Veneers. I still got all my natural teeth except well, some are not capped, but a lot of them are capped. They're crowned, in other words. And you take advantage of that when you're in the Philippines because you go to America, you try to get your teeth crowned or something. You pay over 1,000 a crown or something. I paid a little shit here. And made of good material too, not plastic. Do you know they make false teeth made out of plastic for Filipinos out here that can't afford real porcelain? Yeah, I met a gal from what do you call it over near the mall? Constellation, and she writes me one day that her teeth just fell apart. She had this fake bridge or something, and her teeth were made out of plastic, and they broke. And she showed me her mouth. I said, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" I had to help her out, and she was a friend of mine, and nothing sexual or nothing. She was a friend of mine from Constellation. I used to hang with her a little bit. There's nothing sexual going on me and her at all. She was a hang around friend for several times, really. Ate together, went to her house. She was a dog lover and all that. She was a good gal, but she's the one that got taken advantage of by neighbors when this foreigner was sending her money every month. She was living high off the horse. He was gonna old guy, but he had health problems. He planned to move out there, marry, build a house. Sending her about a couple of grand per month, American money. And she's the one that the neighbors that she was helping out of her heart got kind of carried away with it and expected money all the time. And when her money stopped with that guy, they came by and they ripped up all her clothing she had on the line that she uses for work at the call center, cut her cable to her either internet or TV, I forgot which was, and they did some other shit too. Yeah, her teeth broke. They were made of plastic. Plastic. Plastic, I tell you. Yeah, they actually have that. They don't last, of course, but yeah. But, there's a price to pay for good enamel, for good porcelain, Yeah. And it's still, it costs a Filipino a pretty penny to do that. That's why they get these plastic shit. Yeah, but I don't I never liked the toothy smile. I don't give a shit if it's a model. I don't care who she is. I don't care. She could be the hottest chick in the world. I'm not turned on by this big teethy smile. I don't want to look at somebody's teeth. I really don't. Okay? Lips, yes. Teeth, no. Well, it's okay to look at it when they smile. If their teeth are bared upon smiling, yeah, that's normal. That's acceptable. But I don't want to see it otherwise. You look at those sharp choppers and say, don't go after my private parts here, buddy, with those teeth. You know, hell no. With those choppers, she sneezes the wrong way. Well, your friend disappears, if you know what I'm saying. Don't sneeze with those kind of teeth around me. Hell no. Hell no. But yeah, man, if you got the money, if you got the fucking money, man, take care of it. There's no reason to have buck teeth like that. I mean, there really isn't. There's no reason at all. Except maybe the guy finds it really attractive. I don't know. To each his own. It's a fetish. We're talking about fetishes too. At least you guys are. Take care of the teeth, for God's sakes. Jeez, Louise. You see these chicks walking around. Hoya, 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 hoya. Here are my teeth. Hoya, hanging out of my mouth. Whether I like it or not. Hoya, hoya, hoya. Jesus, Louise. I don't want to see your big fucking buck teeth. Hoya, hoya, here's my teeth. Oh, yo, ho, ha, ho, ring chow, sing my young wolf, sing young moon. Hide it. Hide it. Or make your lips bigger to cover it up. Get some collagen injections or something. I don't know. Silicone, whatever. Then you look like Angela Jolene. You wish. It was a natural, by the way. She didn't have her lips puffed up. Angelina Jolie did not have her. She did not have lip surgery. She had that since she was young. I've seen pictures of her when she was very young. Those are her natural lips. Then everybody wanted to copy that, and all the gals, when she became popular, just like with Marilyn Monroe with the blonde hair, and Jane Mansfield and all that shit. Everybody did the same fucking thing. The cattle of society had to follow the stars. She's a blonde bombshell. I got to dye my hair blonde too. Well, Farrah Fawcett, I got to dye my hair blonde and I got to get it curled up and wavy like Farrah Fawcett. Nobody can be original. I love original people. Don't copy off everybody else. Be original. Because everybody gets a mohawk, it means you should get one too. If somebody jumps off a fucking 6,000 foot mountainside, you should jump off that too. That's the cattle of society, man. They do the stupidest fucking things. Those are humans. If an intelligent life, and I do mean an intelligent life, came to Earth, they would look at Earthlings and say, what the fuck, if they never even knew what it meant. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? These Earthlings are stupid. I can imagine what they'd be thinking. And they've been here. They're probably still here. They're probably still here. Even the aliens, they've been watching the world's culture on their own little monitors. Comedy shows, everything. They probably watch all that shit. Oh, yeah. And they're probably laughing their fucking alien asses off. Oh, look at this one with the green mohawk. Look at this one with the rings hanging out of her nose. What the fuck? And they learn that words. Are they doing? What is the purpose of that? Ring, 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 beep, beep, beep. What is the purpose? Or is that a porpoise? That Earthlings call that animal. What is the purpose of anything? Everybody wants to be original, but they don't realize they're doing the same thing as everybody else. Someone gets a tattoo, somebody else wants to get a tattoo. Tattoos become famous, right? Right? Someone gets a fucking ring in their nose, they want to look like from the fucking Ubangi tribe in Africa. Everybody wants you getting fucking rings through the nose. Why do they want a ring through the nose? To catch all the snot when they get a cold? What is the purpose? Some women get a ring on their fucking vagina. And some say, well, it makes the sexual experience a lot more effective. Yeah, you get a nice infection down there too, honey. Well, they got rings on their fucking tongues to catch all their fucking saliva and all the plaque. And you want to kiss that? Hell no. Hell no, I say. I should do a show or a series called Hell No. That would be a good series to do on here for my show called Hell No. Hell No. Anyway. What I just say is that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is broke, you might want to consider, fixing it a little bit if you got the money. That's all I'm saying. Fix it. But it's like one of those to each his own type things. What one guy finds attractive is another guy may not. It's a personalized thing. But when you walk around with buck teeth, especially as a woman, that's not attractive at all. I'm going to bite you. Bite your ass. Stay away from her or him. Stay away. They might bite you. They might be rabid too. It's never been attracted to me. Never. I don't care how good looking a woman be, but she got some buck ass teeth like that. Hell no. Hell no. Stay away from me. You're too dangerous looking to me. Don't look right. What are they, fucking piranhas? Fucking walking, talking piranhas? Piranhas belong in the Piranha River, not two-legged walking around piranhas, I like to call them. Some guys find that attractive. Then again, that's just me. It's not my thing. With that being said, that's my show. Speaking of piranhas, I'm going to find a good sci-fi movie. What do you think about that? My other half had to go to a very special meeting in town. Oh, she's so connected. Oh my God. She's actually the head, believe it or not, of a important school system function, actually, right here in Santa Fe. Told you, she's very well connected, very well respected. Oh yeah. Now, I wasn't going to go to hang out at this meeting. I was just not going to do that. Although it did get cloudy outside, but it's still very humid. Oh, fucking generator was, put together, that fucking thing. The other day we had a slight blackout again. I couldn't get the goddamn thing started. Got the gas in there, got the new pull string in there. Couldn't get the goddamn thing started. Because there's little magic tricks you have to do not only with the throttle, but there's another couple of things on this particular generator that you have to do. Or the gas will build up in the lines, it won't start. And also the voltage. I can't have my water pump on when the generator's on. Because the high pressure pump for the water that we have, and it has something to do with the voltage. It's drawing too much voltage. So when you have your generator on, it's going hum, 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 hum. Instead of going hum, they go hum, 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 and it might turn off. It all has to do with the voltage regulator or something on there. That's a piece of shit generator. I just wanted to tell you the truth. It's a piece of shit generator. When it's working, it works fantastic. Beautiful. But when it's not, it's a pain in the ass. I tried pulling it the other day. I said, I'm not going to stand out here and get a god dang cardiac arrest over pulling this dang string. Yeah. I played around with the throttle. And the last guy was there, and I said, I know where I'm supposed to put the settings. He said, see where I got it? Don't worry about opening this switch. Just deal with this switch. All right, so leave the other one where it is, right? That's what I've been doing the whole time. No, leave that where it is, but just only use this one. And your throttle, keep it off and just turn it a little bit on. I know that, But ever since we had a new carburetor put in here, see, that's the problem. There was a new carburetor in here. It was different from the original. So I had a different switch system on there for the gas flow and so forth. Much different. It's not hard to operate a generator. But this one, since we switched carburetor, there was some different parts on there. All right, enough about the generator. Yeah. I may have a blackout, and it will work. It'll work all day. Once you get it started, it's no problem. It's a good boy. But trying to start the son of a bitch, I refuse to stand there and pull on this goddamn rope until my heart is pounding out of my goddamn chest. I don't want to do that. I'll get her son to go, hey, you're younger than me, pull this fucker. Get it started. But I'm not going to stand there in the heat of the day. The heat of the day and the humidity level being 85, be pulling on this goddamn string on a goddamn generator. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to do it anymore. All right, man. Hey, I got to go. You know what us retired people do. We watch TV. Remember that? Some of us exercise, But some of us also watch TV. And I like a good old movie in my nice air-conditioned room. If anybody's got a problem with that, speak now or we'll forever hold their peace. Do you mind that I watch a movie and sit in my air-conditioned room? Is that okay? Do I need your permission? Because that's exactly what I'm going to do, whether you like it or not. Yes, that's what many retired people actually do. No, they're not scaling mountains. No, no, no. They're not on a jet ski every day or diving, tandem diving from a Piper Cub or something. No, 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 no. That's not standard issue, old man. I'm sorry. Maybe there's some, and maybe there's some chance takers or some very people who are, well, adrenaline junkies. I'm not that much of an adrenaline junkie. I get my adrenaline right here on YouTube. Thank you. All right, guys, I gotta go. You got buck teat, man. Fix that fucking buck teat, man. Seriously. You scare people with that shit. You can scare animals away. If you can scare animals with that, shit. Think what an animal will do to you. Remember, when you bare your teeth, it's not going to be very sweet for you. Hide those fucking, hide those ugly fucking things, will you? Hide them. Disguise them. I don't care what you do. Go to a fucking dentist. Especially if you got the money. Go to a fucking dentist. For God's sakes. Well, my fans were demanding another live show. I'm actually in the middle of watching Dexter, and I believe that's the series. Quite brilliant. I love these British movies and actors. And there's something about British women that are kind of interesting, really. And British people, actually. They have a style. I like the accent, too. Yeah. Very strange movie. This guy and this woman are very close as friends, even after 3 years. They both have this inert love for each other, but they don't bring it out. Or, well, in the beginning, they expressed in some ways, never had sex or nothing all the time. They've been to bed, going on with their lives. One's trying to go in this direction. Dexter, whatever, he's a rich guy, rich guy. She's exactly the opposite, trying to write plays. He's now like one of these cheesy, hosts on a, some people say it's a second-rate rag show. Just kind of a weird movie. Needed a break from it, quite frankly. Started to rain again, as you would think. Yeah, what's new with that? What's exciting? I got a delivery today. Quercetin with bromelain. I guess I never shared that with anybody. Shh, secret's out. What is it all about? For lungs, for longevity. It's an inflammatory, very powerful. For allergies, they can even be given to the dogs in certain amounts. Quercetin with bromelain. There you go. Trade secret. It's out. I don't have to share this, but sharing is caring. That's quercetin, Querticin, with bromelain, Bromelain. Secret's out. I was going to keep that one to myself, but I didn't. There you go. Look into it. Get on your little chat GPT like you do and see what it's all about and what all the hoopla is about with quercetin with bromelain. But I know most people don't care because, well, some people are falling apart at the seams and don't seem to care about themselves. So the question is, why should I care? Well, maybe I'm a caring person, after all. Anyway, we're not going to get into politics here on this show. In fact, I'm probably going to be cutting it short because I actually have more interest in a movie than I really want to do a shoe at this hour anyway. Just enjoying my humble retirement life on my dusty island. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a dusty island. Got to get the dustpan out every day to get the dust from my dusty island. Anyway, that's my short. I'm sorry. I didn't plan to do a long show here. One of my fans big fans wrote, I was hoping you'd do another live show later. How many lives do you want me to do a day? I can only talk about so much. No, that's a lie. I could talk about a lot of things, but I think there's some things I'm going to choose not to talk about on here. I don't want to give credit where it's not due, if you know what I mean. And I think you probably do. Yeah. I'm not promoting anybody else's channels. I think I'm going to be done with that. Okay, so yeah, some other information has come my way by email, but I'm not going to share it. Some people are trying to run me amok by giving me falsified information, but we're not going for that anymore. And I question anything that's emailed to me anyway. Oh, let's see. Documents. I had to copy some documents today. Some things seem really complicated. Picture this, a picture of that, proof of this, proof of that. You know, the red tape involved in bureaucracy is pretty crazy. I have tried unsuccessfully to come up with a Social Security site. No matter what I try, I guess I'm not the secretary type of person, but why does it seem so complicated? That email already exists. Okay, then I should be in like Flynn. But no, no. There's some other things going on with that where I can't get in. And I never really had a Social Security online because every time I tried, I would screw something up. And not everything is not straightforward. Apparently, when I've applied before to get online with Social Security, they retained my email address, but that was about it. Enter email address. It already exists in our system. Okay, you figure, well, that's a good start. It exists in the system. Well, what now? Then it gets more complicated. Different ID and this and that and this and that. Jeez. Nothing is easy as pie as 1, 2, 3 when it comes to bureaucratic bullshit. Yeah. And even renewing the passport. That is quite involved. You got to fill out these DS-11 forms. So I had to have them printed up. And then you have to go probably directly to the embassy just to fill out the forms in front of them, actually. Then that's not your appointment. No, then you got to schedule an appointment. So you go all the way to Cebu to go present your DS-11. Oh, thank you, sir. And then they'll schedule an appointment to come back. I was going to have JR do this. But why should I pay 13,000 pesos to have it done? His fees being 10,000 and about 3,000 for the passport. My passport is not overdue, not close, but you want to do it a certain amount of months ahead of time because it could take anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks or something to get your passport. So I thought maybe have JR do it. I'm still thinking about it. I can afford to pay him it, but then I think, what does it cost me to go to Cebu, stay at some accommodations just to do this for a couple of days? I'm going to wind up spending money out there. So maybe 13,000 sounds very attractive just to have somebody else do it for me. Thinking about that. I got to weigh it out, the math on here. Of course, it's going to cost me a lot less if I just go there myself and do the paperwork myself. But because I'm such a long distance from Cebu, basically, I'd have to wind up staying there a night or two. You know, And then it gets just as expensive as it was going to cost to have JR do this stuff. I don't know. Some people prefer, I don't want to deal with it. I think when you get older, you just don't want to deal with anything. Hey, let somebody else do it. And I kind of do that with some chores around here. Different projects that I know I can do, but I say, fuck it. I can afford to pay somebody to come over and do it and take the headache away from me. I've been kind of thinking like that lately. I really have. Certain things I like to do, and there's certain things I don't like to do. And I'd rather have somebody else do it. So one of my top fans wanted me to do a live, but he's not even on here. Shame on you. Shame on you. Top fans. Where are your top fans? I don't see you. Come on here and I do a show interrupting my series I'm watching on the boob tube, which I'm going to get back to in about 2 minutes. Otherwise a lovely day. Lovely day. Not right now, it's raining, but I'm okay with it. Lots of water in the well. Lots of water in the aquifer. Cleans things up. In the Philippines, every now and then, needs a little bit whitewashing. You don't mind things getting a little bit cleaned up. Cow piss, goat piss, dog piss, fly piss, ant piss, mosquito piss, whatever. Scrub it all down. Clean it all up. Remember, it all comes out in the wash. Even when it rains. And I'm going to go watch my series. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I wasn't talking about trolls. Sorry to disappoint you. Maybe another time. We'll dispense with that. Welcome to my evening tuck-in show.
Okay.
Saw a rather interesting series. And it was on Netflix. It was called One Day. One Day. What I like is that the episodes were extremely short. You don't have to go through weeks or anything like that with this movie. You should check it out. It's interesting in many ways. I think there's something there for just about everyone, really. It does have to do with relationships and so forth. And some of the ups and downs that people go through. Maybe people were cheating. Maybe people weren't meant for each other. But it was a really good story. It was British. It was actually quite delightful. I really like these movies because they make you think a lot about situations. And really about our life cycle and how you can never get back what you once had. Most of the time. You could try, but sometimes it can be hard for people. Losing a loved one, for example. But you always have the memories. Nobody can take that away from you. And then I think of the imbecile shit that goes on here on YouTube. And I'm embarrassed of myself. I'm embarrassed that I listen to this shit. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think, really, how precious life really is. Don't worry. I'm not going to go into a real big philosophical thing, in case you're wondering. But I am going to philosophize a little bit here. What a waste of human life and human breath that I witness here on social media. But it's not just on social media, folks. It's everywhere. But it's more seen on social media. When the personalities of people really come out and you see what horrible people truly are. A lot of darkness out there, a lot of darkness. And I don't mean the evening. It's the darkness within people's hearts. And I've seen a lot of darkness on YouTube. Everybody trying to prove something to somebody else. Kevin going out for his walks to prove that he could walk. He just did a a little short thing a little while ago. He's in Pattaya and he's walking down a block. Why do you have to prove that, Kevin? Do you feel that you owe me something? Do you feel that you have to prove something to me? Seriously? Kevin, you don't have to prove nothing to me. Just go on with your life, man. What you have left of it, 'cause you just don't know, right? You say that sometimes on your show, don't you? You just don't know. And that's true. You don't know. Appreciate if you have anything that's good and just in your life. That's what I say. Hang on to it. Hold on to it tightly and don't let go. That's what I say. Because you just never know. Don't practice your whole life practicing hate on social media. I've said it at least 4,000 times, probably, since I've been on YouTube, that it's a waste of oxygen. It really is. Somebody wants to hurt somebody's feelings. World's coming to an end. There's a siren. There it is. Listen to it closely. That could be the disaster of your life. Let's listen to it. Dogs don't like it. It's terrible for their ears. They hate it. Every night, 9 o'clock. Curfew. You think we are living in a prison, even when we're not. But some people are living in a prison. Their life is their prison. They're stuck behind bars, but not steel bars. They're stuck because their life has gotten them stuck and they can't move on. It's the same old shit every day. It's some people anyway. Same shit. Next day, same shit again. You get the same shit on each channel, the same shit every other fucking day. It's the same shit. I'm doing a show. And you hear these people who's ranking and cranking on somebody. It's like never ending. And then you sit there and you truly wonder and say, what are these people really doing with their lives? I mean, really doing with their lives? Well, if this is any example on YouTube, shit, that's sad news. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody on social media. They don't matter. They're just entities in darkness. That's all they are. There's some electronic fucking voice. They're just somebody on this electronic media that most people never get to meet each other anyway. But they sure have a lot to say about each other. What dictates them? Why do they dictate their shit on somebody else? Well, to me, it's an indicator that something ain't going right in their life. So they want you to be as miserable as they are. Now, that's a fact. I don't live by that code. I don't live in misery because somebody else is miserable and they want to come on a show and accuse you of 1,000 crimes. They seem to know everything about you. They're experts. They're lawyers. They're psychologists. They're government officials. They know everything. They know what's in your bank account. They know whether you're happy or not. How do they know that? Well, you see, they don't. But it feels good for them to say something negative about somebody else. Isn't that the truth? It is. Sometimes people need a wake-up call, and it could be a medical emergency. It could be a loss in their life or something like that. Then they realize that all the nonsense and bullshit on YouTube has wasted so much of their valuable and precious time and breath. Isn't that the truth? Time is precious. Now, most of you are expats, some of you are not, soon to be. Think ahead. Generally, you are older out here anyway, the way it goes. You got some years on your girlfriend or perhaps wife. You don't know when something's going to happen. Just today, it was 4 hours back, right at the port over here in Santa Fe, the ferry port, and I believe it was Filipino, and he had a big old belly. The guy was just going in there. He wanted to get a ticket to go to Cebu. Died of a heart attack. They tried to revive him in a so-called ambulance, but, they don't know much what you're doing around here. They didn't even have a goddamn defibrillator. They tried CPR, but the guy died. Of course, the guy was overweight. Seems to be a common denominator. Oh, I promise I'm not going to get deep into this obesity issue. I'm just saying that it's very common, obesity and death. People don't take care of themselves. He had no idea, just for buying a ticket to go to Cebu, that he was going to drop dead of a heart attack. He didn't have a clue. It was just another day to him. You can look it up if you think I'm bullshitting. Yeah, about 4 hours ago. Okay, Mr. I should put my damn glasses on. Here they are. I got them on, actually. Velo. The guy with the paid traveling circus, has nerve to talk about you. Says he doesn't talk about other men, but talks about you. Does he ever speak the truth? Well, there's a number of people that don't speak the truth, and I'm trying to... The guy with the paid traveling circus. I think I know what you're talking about. Well, they just, it's like an orgasm to them. They like talking negative about other people. And none of these people have spent time around me, my girlfriend and family, or myself to know me that well. My personality on YouTube is one thing, but it's real. But you can't get more real than to actually spend time with me to know what I'm like, my relationship is like, my relationship to her children, and so forth, and family. You don't know that. You don't know that. And chances are you never will, because it's my choice not to bring in foreigners in my life. I don't deal with foreigners. Although this country needs tourism and needs foreigners, I didn't move out of the United States to hang around with a bunch of fucking foreigners. And that's the truth. A friend of ours who works the produce stand, her husband is American, and he don't deal with any foreigners at all. And I'm not the only one. There's just more trouble than it's worth. I didn't leave a country to be around some of the scum that I've left in America. See, that's my choice. That's my choice. As far as whether or not I have friends out here, yes, I do. Most of them are Filipino. And they started out as friends to my girlfriend. But actually, how I got my start is that I made a friend with a Filipino woman out here when I first visited Santa Fe. And I met her family. I held her child in my arms, her baby. We used to call her Coconut. Now she's a growing girl now. And we're still friends with the family. And that was the most comforting people I've met, was the Filipinos. To this day, we're still friends. I've helped them out now and then. In fact, we are godparents to their children, if you didn't know that. True story. Sometimes people need to sit back and reflect, whether it's a good movie they watch that focuses on life, really, and how precious it is, and you could lose a loved one that easy. Now imagine being a man or a woman that's had a husband or wife. They've been married for 50 years. Children, grandchildren, a whole bit. Imagine being married that long to somebody, and that love lasted that long, and that partner dies, and then you have nobody, you know. And of course, if your grandchildren or anybody else are in your life, you have them. You always will, for the most part. But for those that don't, think of how lonely a man who's been married for 50 years, he's got to be, I don't know, 75 or whatever. And he has to live his life alone. It's not an easy thing to do, I'm sure. But there are people that were not married to anyone for 50 years, on here and otherwise. In fact, they have a hard time even finding somebody to actually be with them. Vilo says you're correct about being large and not living a long life. The old folks' homes were filled with thin people, not fat people. So the guy who passed away, all you can see in somebody's videos that he had a very enlarged stomach. It seems to be a common factor, obesity among those that are passing away. And we've had a number of people right here from YouTube that were certainly over their weight that passed away. And that's why I would talk about it so much. And a lot of people think, no, you're just trying to be an asshole and finding fault with people. But that's really not the truth. I could do that all day long and night if I really wanted to. I think I simply just gave out good advice to people. And but the way I work things these days is that I'm trying to stay away from the advice corner because people are going to do what they want to do, whether somebody gives them advice or not. And I know there's a fact. I have a child that's way. You try to give them advice they don't listen to, and their life falls apart, and they blame their dad. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. And it happened to me. Got to blame somebody, right? Not yourself. Many people don't blame themselves. You know, Barry's in jails, you know, been a long time now. He'll put the blame on me, you know, it's the way it works. And so does his girlfriend. And you know what's going on with that. Well, you know the story on that. Barry did it to himself when you think about it. And it would have happened one way or the other from the beginning. So people are very big on pointing the finger and putting blame on people all the time. And you say, why do they do that? Well, number one, because they could, and because they're trying to find some kind of reason to live their lives as poorly as they do, as bitter as they actually are, because they just really haven't achieved the things that they wanted. And it's a pretty common factor among people, among humans. Their life does not go the way that they planned, and they get upset about it, and they really get upset when they see other people live a decent life. So they figure they got to go on the attack of them all the time. And they get off on that. But after they said their words, they said their piece, oh, they'll go back to doing it again another day. But then when they have a moment of silence and they're not doing their shows, they take a little reflection of themselves. They know what their life is all about. You know, we don't have to see it. But they know. They know if they're lonely. They know if they're happy. Only they truly know. You could say anything you want about anybody on here. Unless something is actually demonstrated, then yes, you could make some kind of conclusion about the life that they're living, obviously. If you can't settle down with just one woman, you have to have more than one. You know, if you're obese and you just don't want to do anything about it and you think you're going to live a long time, and you use poetic license to knock other people that are not obese, that actually have a partner in their life, that is settled down, and not everybody has that. So I do consider myself rather fortunate. I do. And people don't like when I blow my horn. Some of them want to blow me. I wouldn't be surprised, but when I blow my horn, it's not because I'm trying to say, look what I got and look what you don't. What I'm trying to say is I feel happy, I feel lucky, and I feel very fortunate that I'm in the situation that I'm in, with the relationship I'm in. Yeah. So you got to think about that sometimes. And what you got to learn to do is what I've done. Basically, I hear all this negative shit on YouTube every single day. It's not going to stop. It's just the way it is. I accept it. The main thing is if you know who you are, you know the life you're living. They're not living your life. You're living your life. And a lot of people say, oh, why should we be jealous and envious of you? Well, I'm not going to get into it much, but there's lots of reasons that some might be jealous of me, of what I just spoke about. Oh, Frank, you're a hateful person. Am I really? Or is people saying I'm hateful, but those are one that are committing the hateful acts that they do, that they're financing people to get a lawyer to try to get you deported out of the country because basically you have defeated them too many times and they're pissed off because they can't prove themselves right. So they got to coerce somebody to do something, a dirty deed, to make them happy. Send people over the house looking for rice and money. Just so many things they have done because something is missing in their life. Absolutely. Something is missing in their life. They can't handle it. So they got to take it out on somebody else. And this is so commonplace on social media. Every single day. And it doesn't have to be the Philippines genre. It could be anywhere. Some people got to sit back and reflect and say, well, maybe some people are right about what they're saying about you. You just don't want to accept the fact that maybe you're not killing it. Maybe you're not living the life. And your life out here or whatever is not paradise that you thought it would be. So you're upset with yourself, so you want to get upset with somebody else who are living a few notches or maybe more than a few notches above your lifestyle. Hello, Keller. I'm not repeating everything I'm saying here. But people got to reflect upon themselves. If they're not living the life that they want to live, it's not anybody else's fault. It's their own fault. Don't blame other people for your miserable life, for being so bitter. That is something that you bring upon yourself, not other people. You may blame other people. You have nobody to blame but yourself. And I don't care how much money you have or no money or whatever. You're your own guide to your own rest of your life. And if you're not living that great life and you're miserable and you're lonely and you're bitter, you can't blame other people for that. That's a cop-out. An absolute cop-out. You got yourself to blame. Nobody else, man. And I know people are taking this to heart because they know I'm right. They'll never admit it, though. They'll never in a million years admit it. That they fucked up their own lives. They want the life that other people have that perhaps they cannot achieve. And there's a lot of reasons why they cannot achieve that life. It's their demeanor, their personality. You can't hide the hate in you. You meet a woman, and a woman, can sense things about a man as well as a man could do about a woman. It doesn't take that much time together to figure somebody out. If you're really looking to see deep what's inside somebody, spend a little bit of time with them and you'll see it. And those are warning signs and red flags that you have to recognize. Keep that in mind. So if life doesn't turn out for you, you're ready in your 60s, well, dude, you waited a long time, but there's hope. There's hope. You just got to change things around a little bit. Learn to care about people, but here's the thing. You can't love somebody else unless you have some kind of love and respect for your own self. Because it's hard to love somebody else if you don't love yourself in some way. It's very difficult. It wouldn't help with the relationship. You shouldn't enter a relationship, in fact, if you've totally lost respect for your own self. You know who you are. You know what you're made up of. You know how callous you could possibly be, how unforgiving, how relentless, how much of a dick that you could be. So you get into a relationship, it always comes out. Or maybe you just can't get a relationship. Then you sit there and wonder, you know, what did I do wrong? You could even be in a relationship, and you could be in a relationship for a while with a person, but part of your personality will always come out at some point, and a relationship's just not going to last. No woman wants to spend her time with a man because it's her valuable time, and it's her life, and it's her breathing, and her breath, and her oxygen, too. She don't want to waste her time in a relationship that just ain't going to work. We have nothing to offer. But you, as a guy, have a lot to expect, and you have too many expectations from your partner that ain't going to last. So, not respecting yourself is related to all this talk about obesity and general health issues. Because I think one of the most prominent things that goes on with people is the obesity. Sorry, but I can't help stop talking about that because we have seen all over the world what's happening with people. They want to live the good life, but they don't want to do anything about it. Maybe you're doing some bad things with your health, but do you ever consider that maybe you should add a little bit of good things? But some people don't really give a shit, you know. They don't want to live a long life. They just live the train of thought that, hey, I'm retired. I'm going to smoke as much as I want. I'm going to drink as much as I want. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I know somebody like that. My old confidant. He's another one that's like that. And he don't like anybody telling him what to do. That's okay. And he has the attitude. And I met a lot of people like that. I'm not going to look at the labels. I'm not going to look at the calories. I'm not looking at the fat content. If it looks good, it don't bite me back, you know, I'm going to eat it. If it tastes good, I'm going to eat it, despite the harm it's doing to their body. Now, these are people that don't have respect for themselves, because I feel that anybody who's obese has absolutely no respect for themselves and their own body. And I'm sorry if I sound cold, but I have no respect for these people either. If they can't respect themselves, if they turn around and then they don't respect other people. Nobody on here is an expert on anybody. That's including me. Nobody is an expert on anybody on YouTube. We may know things about them that are very obvious, and we can speak about it because we know it to be true. But in many cases, it's a lot worse than what we see. Because what goes on behind the scenes, we don't see that. And they're never going to show you that. I'll give you a prime example. You know, Michael Fazio. It's good to talk about him now and then because I think he's a prime example of a man that, you know, didn't want to take care of himself. He sure had a lot to say about everybody. And he did a lot of horrible things behind the scenes. He really did. And I'm the one to know that. His life was a whole waste. He didn't accomplish anything in his life. Although he boasted about a whole lot of things that he never really did. Or couldn't do very well. But he was so dependent because the other factor, the loneliness, it's not just the obesity, it's the loneliness factor. Michael Fazio was extraordinarily lonely. And I never hesitated to talk about it. He had to talk to somebody. And he needed to talk to people on the phone afterwards. He would spend probably 60% of his time, people didn't know all this, talking to anybody, whether it was Scott Del Fuego, anybody that wanted to talk to him on the phone, on Skype or whatever. And he'd get upset if they wanted to end the call because he would even put sanctions on people like he did to Warren if Warren didn't call him up. That's how bad it was, guys. I know this to be true. He needed human contact. He moved into this country under bad pretenses, and a lot of people do. They're leaving their country because they're running away from something, but it's not like they're rejoicing to a new life. I'm running towards something special. No, a lot of them were running away from the problems they had that was self-created where they used to live. But the sad thing about that, you could leave a geographical area, but you're still carrying yourself around no matter where you go. If you were problematic where you used to live, you're still going to be problematic in another country. The grass is not necessarily greener on the other side, as they always wind up finding out. And it's a true story. It's life. Then they live a miserable life and they can't go back to where they were. Too expensive, perhaps, and many other reasons that they can't go back because the law's after you. The tax man might be after you. You might have an LA gang that's after you. There's a million stories in the naked city, but you're not going to hear it all. Now, those that come on YouTube, they try to portray their lives as easygoing, and they're traveling, and they're having all this fun, and they get themselves into trouble, self-created. You don't see what's going on. They only show you on their YouTube channel. Hey, look at me, my life is so fantastic, and you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. Although, sometimes they falter. They may say or show something that by accident, or they happen to be in this mood where they do a tell-all story, whether it's on on YouTube or it's on Facebook, and they actually slip and fall. And they give out some details of their life that, oh, really? Is that what's really happening? And they slip. Then they'll deny it later on. I was just joking or something. Yeah. So, as I said, don't believe everything you hear on YouTube. But there's some stuff you can believe. And why? Because you've heard it, you've seen it, and maybe many times. Yes, you can actually make an assessment of somebody on YouTube when they're like really out there. And here's what you got to do if you want to see their real personality. And I've tested people many times, you just don't know I'm doing it. You push somebody a little bit and their real personality comes out. Like Barry, Kevin, and other people. Bring the truth to them, put that proverbial mirror in front of their face, and they get really upset. Then you're going to see what they're really all about and how hateful they can be. How dare you show me who I really am? That's when they get initially defensive, and then they turn offensive. And this is a common practice on here. Hear it every single day. And all people do is do shows about chismis about this person. You got the Philippine Antics, you got all these channels that are bitching and whining about something, but yet they moved here. They're knocking the Philippines from head to toe, but yet they still live here. They claim they don't like another YouTuber, but they're so entranced with somebody, they have to listen to them when they don't have to. Problem solved. But they do. And when they hang on every word you say, and they're actually examining you through their own microscopes to find fault with you, but they're not seeing their fault. They don't want to see it because it's too ugly. They want to listen to you, copy your show, even make notes, And it'll even itemize with a timestamp of what you said on another show. And anybody who has that kind of time to do that, it's reasonable to say that they have too much time on their hands. Because if they were living a happy life, they wouldn't be coming on a daily basis and attacking other people. Where do they find the time to do this? Unless their life is not as fulfilled as they try to pretend it to be. Oh, you might have the woman, you might even have a family. But what's the real story? Well, you gotta, find other women in your own relationship. Because you're not satisfied with one woman. You can get another woman to sleep you in your wife's bed and have children with another woman. How sick is that? But this is YouTube. Now, we know these things as a fact, and we could say they're a fact because we've seen it, heard it, we understand it. We've seen the videos of people like this. And they're the ones that turn around and they try to find fault with you. When you examine their lives, you're saying, man, what a complicated life they're living. They can't be truly happy down to the heart level. They cannot truly be happy. I cannot see how that's even possible. But if you're going to spend time on YouTube, you're going to have your own show, you're going to expect there's going to be somebody out there that don't agree with you. They'll come up with their own conclusions based on invalid information. They'll spread horrible rumors about somebody because they want somebody to feel bad about themselves. But what they don't understand is that if they are living, the people they're talking about, if they are living a good life, and they know they are, then it's just a bunch of nonsense. You just ignore it. Because it's likely that these are the people that are not living the life that you are. It's not, it really doesn't take brain science to figure this out. It's obvious. Okay, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on here because I want to wind down for the evening. And I just thought I'd do a little later show. And I'm going to give another message to Kevin. Kevin, listen, man, again. So you go out for a walk again. Yeah, you're probably going to wind up in a 7-Eleven buying more ramen again. But you know what? Good for you. Kevin, whatever makes you happy, you could live this pretensive life, but you're not fooling anybody. And you're not fooling yourself. You're just fooling yourself, really. You don't have to prove anything to me. You don't have to rebuttal everything I say on here. Because I take it very lightly, Kevin. I really do. I feel a little sorry for you, and part of me doesn't feel sorry for you. This goes for other people, too, not just Kevin. We know there are things going on in their lives that aren't exactly kosher, and that these people are really lonely people. They could even be in a relationship and be lonely. But hell and high water, they're not going to tell you all the legal, personal, financial problems that they have. You could be with somebody and still be lonely. Do you know that? If you don't have a perfect relationship, you'll do things like date other women, even though you're in a relationship, even get married to a woman. And you'll have, mistresses and all kinds of shit floating around. What that tells me is that they're not solid in a marriage, and you should never gotten married. Unless it's all for legal purposes, to buy land or something. Oh yeah, that's when they need the Filipina. But it's happening. I see it. I know of it. And it's sad. Anyway, we got a good number of people this time of night. We have 14 people, 4 thumbs up, and thank you very much. They say if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And, some people just don't have what other people have. And this has nothing just to do with YouTube. It's life itself. People are always jealous of other people who have some success in life. Success does not mean having a lot of money. Doesn't mean you have a fat wallet. Success could be something as simple as having somebody in your life that gives a fuck about you. And a lot of these people don't have true relationships. They pretend they do to other people. It's all a facade to hide their inner turmoil and their loneliness. And a lot of people that get into their 60s and above, they're not living the life like they try to make you believe. And just because you move into a different country doesn't mean you're a rock star. It means you're going to get all these women. Chances are you're going to have to pay for them. The good Filipinos are out there. They're all out there. You just got to find them. But you have to have something to offer. And I don't mean money. Just be a good guy. And you don't refer to women as hoes, as some people do. They refer to women as hoes. And not all women are hoes. You can't generalize. You cannot make a statement like that. And only the people that say shit like that are the ones that are unsuccessful with getting a woman and they get bitter. So bitterness is the big denominator and loneliness is a big denominator, especially here in social media. Don't be envious of somebody's life or my life. How about putting your own life together and you won't be as bitter when you got somebody else to concentrate on and not some extraneous whatever person on YouTube because you're so internally unhappy. You're getting older, man. You got to settle down somewhere. I mean, there's no rule in life, but it's highly suggestive that you do because you start out as a helpless baby that needs its mama and father. Then when you reach an older age, guess what? Remember, you change your baby's diapers, right? You get old enough, you know, somebody might be changing your diapers. As you get old, you become either incontinent, you have some other problems, you're bedridden. Now, you've reverted back to being an infant again that needs the care of somebody. And if you're going to be alone, who are you going to have to take care of you? Who? Well, you have to pay somebody dearly, and some people can't afford that. Remember, you're not getting younger, you're getting older. At some point in time, your body might be breaking down. You might find yourself not able to walk, and you don't have a caretaker of some sort. Or if you weren't smart enough to find a great woman, a great Filipina, who are very natural in doing that kind of stuff. They're very nurturing. They make the best nurses in the world, and we all know that. So if you're alone, you have to think that maybe it's your fault. Stop lying about saying you've been dating people when you haven't. Or here, I'll show you a picture with my head against somebody else, and that's my girlfriend. When do we know it's not? You're fooling yourself, you're not fooling us. That's my night show. Think about what I said. Insults against me don't bother me on here. It's just when you involve people's family, I have a problem with that. I could take most insults on here. But then, as I said, I examine the source of where it's coming from. And if you examine their life, they usually have a very complicated life. Not everything is what you hear and see on YouTube. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They will only show you what they want to show you. And these are the people that are crying behind the camera and having the hardest moments of their life, and they see that they're aging and they're getting worried. So they wind up buying a woman. If you stay with me, I'll give you an allowance, but you got to take care of me. I'll even give you a place to live. That's not your partner. That's not your wife. They've been reduced to a caretaker I'll pay you X amount of money every month if you hang around with me and pretend that we are this happy couple. It doesn't always turn out to be that way, does it? No. They're not happy. Don't buy their stories. They want you to buy it. But most of them are living in some sort of misery. And they gotta lash out at everybody else. He did this, he did that. And they'll even make up stories, elaborate stories about people. Talk about things that have never existed, never happened. Information is totally false. But that's their way of getting back at you. They want to make themselves look better. It's kind of diverting the truth about themselves, and politicians do this. Something big political comes up about them. They want to divert the attention somewhere else. So they concentrate on a different event to get the heat off them. And this is exactly what these trolls do on here. And that's my show. And good night.